Good morning to you, college rugby fans. Welcome to Space City, Houston. We are in Texas for the National Collegiate Rugby All-Star Shield Championship. I am John Broker. I am joined by the ever-clever Pat Clifton, going to be joining me for the entire weekend. Our first game is going to be the Pacific Coast Grizzlies taking on the Tri-State Foundry. Pat, great day for rugby. Lots of good representation throughout the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about 50 degrees down here in Houston. It's going to get nice into the low 60s later into the day. So a good reprieve from the Tri-State for sure for these teams coming from, players coming from teams from New York and Connecticut. Teams from over 105 colleges, or players from over 105 colleges across the country represented here this weekend, split across 8 different teams going for this Shield Challenge Championship.
And we have our first kickoff there. That you see is Pacific Coast in the white. They are kicking off to the Tri-State Foundry. As Pat said, players from across the nation taking on this weekend here in Houston. And first kickoff comes back the way of the Pacific Coast. The Grizzlies on the move. Grizzlies, strong team out here. Good showing last year. We'll want to build on that, but an early penalty here. And we're trying to go quick. Cannot do it. The Foundry, very related to Rugby New York, the MLR Major League Rugby team, Pat. A lot of these Major League Rugby teams getting involved in this collegiate all-star tournament.
That's right. We saw the New England Free Jacks sponsor the New England Independence last year, the Northeast Independence, I should say, and they won the championship, and seen a lot of fruits from that, and a lot of great talent on that team. And I think the Free Jacks would be frothing to get a lot of guys like Ollie Corbett and Malcolm Robinson on their side from that all-star team. And Rugby New York says, hey, if Boston can do it, we can do it. And they've sponsored the Foundry here and gotten involved. It's great to see.
Players from across the tri-state area of New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, on that Foundry team that you see here. Foundry with this first line out. And they're going to step that one in. But taken away there by the Pacific Coast. And it's not going to touch. We're going to have another line out here. Pat, we'll talk about this throughout the day, but this is day one here. These teams really, played against each other a lot, have to get used to playing with one another. How big a factor is that in this early going?
It's massive, right? Most of these teams haven't had much time together whatsoever. They've just arrived in Houston, get to know each other's names, and how quickly can you get together and play with any kind of cohesion will certainly make a big difference, especially when in a pool play set up like we got this weekend.
Right there, ball down this time to the Foundry, looking to go, but it doesn't go to hand. The whistle here from the referee on that knockout will be Pacific Coast. Scrum down coming.
Pacific Coast finished second in this competition last year, but won it the prior 2 years. So they've got a long tradition of winning. They expect to be in it on day 2.
Harrison Dahl to put this one in for the Pacific Coast from Utah Valley University, from Alpine, Utah, the sophomore. Do our best to provide you information on as many players as we can this weekend. Referee brings that one up. Wants to come back for a good, safe scrum here for the Pacific Coast. Wants to get it set. Just 2 minutes gone. These can be 25-minute halves.
National Collegiate Rugby is the largest college membership organization in the country. They've got about 70% of the membership. And Utah Valley is one of those new schools this weekend that's being represented for the first time. They got a few players throughout the lineup. Starting at the back of that scrum, number 8, Parker Marquis. You're going to see the ball go through his legs here to another UVU Wolverine and Tyler Dahl.
That one comes up. We're going to set it down again here. Just shifting a little technical work here, folks, so we can get a better look at the game in this early morning sunshine here in beautiful Houston, Texas. Dahl to put this one in again. Brown waiting. Claremont College's fly half. Ball is away. Finally, a little move in the back line there. Milan Van Wyck played at number 10 last year quite a bit for this Pacific Coast team. from New Mexico Tech. All up to a waiting pot of forwards there for Pacific Coast. Here come the Grizzlies. Grizzlies through Von Wick. He's always able to attack the line, looking all the time. Von Wick goes in, straightens that one out. They've got most of their runners off to the right-hand side here. Just Devon McGee on the left, but now they've got options either way. We'll see where they decide to go. Dahl with the ball. Dahl moves it out to the right-hand side. Good defense coming in from the Foundry. Grizzlies going to have to reset this one. Little pop pass up there for the Grizzlies, and they're able to get that one away to the wing. Nice break across midfield. They come scrambling as a defense there from the Tri-State Foundry, and great penalty player forcing them in not to release the ball there. So penalty here for Tri-State. Opportunity to move this one downfield, and in steps Federico Gubana, the co-captain in Marist College Red Fox.
Early on, very early goings. Both teams still trying to get a little bit of continuity. We've hardly played any rugby without whistles breaking it up. So it's hard to get into a rhythm. First game of the day, not envious spot to be in. Nobody wants to play the 9 a.m. game, and these guys are out here knocking off the rust for everybody, you would seem. Hopefully settle into some good rugby and some good pattern, and as these guys' nerves calm down and their skills pick up.
We'll certainly see that. Lovely day here. Last year, the first day of this event was plagued by 60-mile-an-hour winds. We didn't know where the ball was going to go at any time, so it's nice to see here as Gubana puts in a little pass, gets his team moving forward in the Foundry. The Foundry, coached by Tui Osborne from St. Bonaventure University. The contact coach, Craig Wilson from Yale University. And from University of Connecticut, Rob Nipper-Chudzik. Little kick there from the Foundry. Put the ball in behind Pacific Coast. They elect to kick that one. Hillesheim takes it, moves it across field. They've got some runners here, a nice little space. Working their way upfield are the Foundry just outside the 22. Room off to the left here as Davis moves that one across. Little pop pass there. Up to the 22 they go. Big tackle coming in. Referee says all's good. Let's keep playing. Turned over by Pacific Coast. The Grizzlies on the move here. Grizzlies at their own 22, lots of room. They come, a little dummy runner comes in, the space opens up for Von Wick. Von Wick breaks away from one. Von Wick has an absolute complement of skills here, eventually taken in at the other 40-meter line. Ripped away nearly by the Foundry, the player not holding his own weight, so we're going to have a penalty here against Tri-State. Pacific Coast, opportunity to move this one feet downfield for Sam Brown.
Von Wick getting loose there, playing some inside center. Seen him play all over the park, a little bit of 10, a little bit of 15. He's a very skilled player, very athletic player, though, as well, and can break the line, and he did that time at 12, reversing the field position for the first time, putting the Grizzlies on the front foot. Now we've got a little ping pong as a result.
Does not go to him, but Devon McGee has a hold of it. McGee puts a pass in. That one's knocked on. Tri-State knocks it on themselves. We'll come back for a scrum here to the Tri-State Foundry.
Vuyo Imdalalose, the Wayne State fullback there in counterattack. Wayne State is in Nebraska, the northeast corner of Nebraska, Cummings County, beef country. That's what the billboard says as you're driving into town. So not quite the Pacific Coast, but, you know, if you're going to go train somewhere in a high-performance environment from Cummings County, it might as well be the Pacific Coast in the middle of the winter.
Good point. I learn a little bit every day, and it's early in the morning still, Pat Clifton.
Wayne State home to a absolutely massive 90-team rugby tournament every year.
Scrum going to be reset here.
Kind of a bittersweet development for the Wayne State Wildcats. Got a lot of national championships under their belt, but they're losing their amazing Wayne Rugby Park at the end of the season. It's being razed and being turned into some student housing, but the bonuses are being moved onto campus and will get to play in the football stadium.
The bittersweet change for the team there. Big squeeze coming on from Pacific Coast. Ball coming wrapped around. Let's see who's going to come up with this one. It looks like Tri-State, and they're going to draw the penalty for a player not rolling away. And here they come going quick. It looks like Gubana pops that one up, and the Foundry continue on the move here. Gubana chips that one through. Gubana from Udine, Italy. Grew up playing his rugby in that growing rugby nation. His ball comes down into the Pacific Coast. 22 knocked on. Going to be a scrum here for the Foundry.
I like the pressure that both of these Tri-State Foundry wings are putting on the Pacific Coast Grizzlies out wide. On both sides, we've seen it. Tony Robinson this time on the left, challenging that kick through and pressuring the Grizzlies into a bit of a mistake. So we got great territory, great position. This is the best scoring platform for either team so far.
See the scrum here for the Foundry with co-captain Reed Hammond from St. Bonaventure University, playing number 8 today. Former Fairfield Prep Jesuit.
Great high school coaching he received, I hear.
I've heard that. I've heard that. Frank Decker certainly did a great job coaching him. Frank Decker, the 37-year head coach at Fairfield Prep, but that one comes back. We're going to have a free kick here for the Foundry. Here comes Gubana. He chips one into the try zone. Not exactly what he might have wanted there, but we're going to come back. Referee may have spotted an infraction. Nope, we're going to come back for the goal line dropout here. Gubana might have wanted to keep that one in hand, Pat.
Yeah, Ndululose was able to put that ball down. Still a pretty, not a bad result. These goal line dropouts often, when handled well by your deep three players, can put you right on the front foot on the verge of scoring again. There's still a new mechanism in the game.
Ball back to Gubana. Gubana has ball in hand this time. Come back there. Another knock on. Moving a little slow here with 10 minutes gone in this first half. And it's just these nerves. With 25-minute halves, they really have to clean this up.
That's right. There's not a lot of the way this tournament is set up, which is 50-minute games, 25-minute halves. They're going to play their 3 pool play games today, and then we'll have the knockouts tomorrow. The way this is set up, there's not a lot of margin for error. You got to play good rugby, and so whoever plays the cleaner game and connects better and can get through the chaos more as a team usually has the front foot early on.
Pacific Coast to put this in. Pacific Coast, talk about their coaching staff. Jeremy Ognall from Claremont Colleges, with Scott Bracken, also Claremont. From Cal Maritime, David Bucky and Leaf Williams from Montana State heading it up here for this Pacific Coast team. Long pass out to the width. Here it comes the Pacific Coast across the 50-meter line. We know what they can do. That was Devon McGee from Sonoma State University. Takes that one in. All across there from Dahl. Dahl gets to a waiting set of forwards. Dahl again. I have close, but going to turn it over here for players coming off their feet for the Pacific Coast Grizzlies. It's going to be tri-state ball here just inside their own half of the field.
Really impressed with the run there by the outside center for the Pacific Coast Grizzlies, Connor Malaulu. He's a first year out of Oceanside, California, plays for Miracosta College. Fantastic run by them to set up that break, and unfortunately they turned the ball over, and now Tri-State's right back down at him. But a fantastic individual effort in an all-star tournament. You got to point those out and take credit for him, because his highlight reel got a good start to it already.
Line out coming here for the Foundry, just about 26 meters out from the line. It is going to be Hammond to put this one in. Sandy Hook, Connecticut native. Ball up into the middle. That goes to Jonah Clark. Clark down to Davis. Getting it out. Gubana on the wraparound. Gubana doesn't see it, but he sees some space up the middle. And the Italian-born player heads for the try zone. And the first 5 points of this competition will be scored by that man, Federico Gubana, the Marist College Red Fox. My alma mater, Pat.
Yeah, I can't tell if it's the Red Sox for the Red Fox that's making him look like a live wire in the midfield, or if he's actually moving quicker than everybody else. But he has been the playmaker so far for the Foundries. He's been the one testing that line, and that time he was able to poke through and get under for the try. Great run for Gubana. And, you know, it's early on, but this would be an upset. The Tri-State Foundry were able to knock off the Pacific Coast Grizzlies here.
It certainly would be. Pacific Grizzlies would be favored on paper, but Tui Osborne and crew would have a different attitude there, and certainly Gubana played for Benetton U18, surrounded by some great players from Nazareth College, just a great growing program, as well as Syracuse, UConn, a number of Iona, a number of other great programs up here in the Northeast, and that one's good. So we're at 7-0 Tri-State, just about 13 and a half minutes gone.
Talking to Tom Clark, the head of high performance, who put this whole thing together for NCR. The addition of the Connecticut teams last year was almost all New Yorkers, a couple kids from New Jersey colleges, but the addition and injection of some of this talent from the Connecticut schools has really helped bolster this Foundry squad.
Pacific Coast gets us underway again. Long kick inside the 22. Tri-State gets it to Gubana. He is going to launch this one downfield, but not fine touch into the hands of Mdelalose, the Wayne State College flyer. A tremendous joy to call his games. Vuyo Mdelalose. On the ground they are. Ball coming out there from Dahl. Dahl gets it up into the hands of McLarnon. McLarnon, pop pass there, into contact they go, coming across. Sam Brown directing traffic, puts another set of forwards into contact, just trying to give themselves options either way, and have done. Ball this time comes up to Sean Munemo. Again, Dahl goes off to the right-hand side. Option building up here for the Grizzlies. Grizzlies looking for that right opportunity. Little pass back in to Foundry. But the penalty coming here against Tri-State for not releasing. We're going to bring them on back right to center field to the 40-meter line. Pacific Coast Grizzlies opportunity to push this one downfield, possibly level the score.
Huge carry there by Munemo, doing his best Saya Khaleesi impersonation in the middle of the field. Helping put the pressure on the Foundry here. That's going to give him a shot at goal. Impressed with both of the Wayne State Wildcats so far, him and Mdelalose, and what they've done for the Grizzlies thus far.
And the Grizzlies are going to go for posts here, try to get 3 points on the board, close down this gap just a little bit. And the Grizzlies put that first one up. It's hanging. It is going to go wide. Touchdown by Tri-State. Be a 22 drop for the Foundry. Gubana steps up to take that one.
See the first Tri-State dropout. We saw Pacific Coast get one away earlier, and Tri-State did not handle it super well. See how the Grizzlies go.
Taken by the Grizzlies. Crossfield they come, looking for a little space. Taking it on their own. Not isolated, however. Players coming around. Big pickups there, looking to go wide. Get the ball into Kersey's hands. Trey Kersey from Claremont College, the kinesiology major. Takes that one into contact. Dahl one more time, looking for some runners, but players coming in off their feet again for Pacific Coast. Going to turn that one around. Be a Tri-State penalty. They're on 22.
It's one of those things, especially here in this tournament, you want to start to identify that pattern. Oh, okay, this referee is starting to call it this way. Maybe we need to keep our feet or make this slight adjustment here at the breakdown so we can be on the right side of the whistle. Because when the Grizzlies have the ball in hand, they're doing good things.
Yeah, the Grizzlies unable so far, Pat, to get those really explosive outside runners into some space. Von Wick made a nice break. A couple other, Devon McGee made a nice break. If they can get those fellas running, they'll be in good shape.
Absolutely. Some good hammers in the midfield too, like Sean Munemo playing in the forwards, and Logan McDaniel. Humboldt lock, it's tough to bring down.
Big ball taken down there by Jonah Clark from Bath in the UK. Playing at Nazareth. Bonner just has to take that one in. Nice little step there from the Foundry. Looking for a little break, but that ball's taken away there by McLarnon. A little mistake on the pass there from the scrum half for the Foundry. Davis Cross we come. Opportunity here. Von Wick moves that one across. Out to the wing they go. This is the space they're looking for. Can he finish? Cannot. Devon McGee. McGee taken down by his bootstraps, just about 10 meters out. Referee right on the spot. Looks like that one's been turned over by the Foundry. Good work and tight by this team from the greater New York City area as they go back for a kick. That one's blocked. Player right down on it. Foundry can be able to keep it. They're going to want to be a little cleaner with this one. Just a couple of mistakes creeping into their game in these last couple of minutes. Ball goes back deep to Gubana. He's going to find it. Gubana launches one downfield. Doesn't get too much. An attacking lineup at the 22 for the Grizzlies. Chance to regroup here for the Foundry. And quick they go on the run. Here come the Pacific Coast Grizzlies. They've got a wide open field to the left-hand side here if they can move this one out. Little pass in, just trying to draw in some more defenders there. Ball slips over into the hands of the Foundry. Another handling error. Players just trying to do a bit too much for some of these teams. A long box kick downfield, find some ground. Pacific Coast has to work back on that. There's that pressure you were talking about, Pat, from this Foundry team. Outside center and wing there, that's Ben Clow and Kyrie Poole from UConn and Nazareth, respectively. And Kyrie Poole, Nazareth player, playing for Tate Daniel in that New York State program. Ball's been knocked on by Pacific Coast. First be a scrum here. What pressure from the Foundry, Pat?
Yeah, they're doing a great job. Gubana has a great leg, and they know it. And Poole and Robinson are chasing it very well that time. Ben Clow doing a good job hunting it down. So these backs know that they have a great kicker, and they are getting behind him and sprinting after that ball and really putting pressure on the Grizzlies. Ndulelose used to having a lot more time and space when he's playing in that small college conference there in Northeast Nebraska. He looked up this time, saw two tacklers, didn't have any options, and lo and behold, it's a turnover. And now Tri-State is back after it. After it looks like is this halftime or a water break?
Yeah, it looks like halftime right here. So we are going to step away and be right back with the second half.
in our game. We play with our hearts. We don't play with sticks, bats, or gloves. We don't wear shoulder pads or helmets. We keep playing when it hurts. And we leave everything on the field. What we wear must be built for our game.
Welcome back. It's going to be the second half. Pacific Coast Grizzlies trailing the Tri-State Foundry. See a referee just having a couple of words there with Pacific Coast set of forwards. We're ready to get underway. John Broker with Pat Clifton. Pat, as you said, Tri-State up by just a little bit would be a surprise upset to some people, certainly not to Tri-State. What does Pacific Coast need to do to get back into this?
Yeah, Pacific Coast needs just to possess the ball. They've hardly had any ball whatsoever, and when they've had it, it's been in the defensive end. So they just need to possess the ball, get into the attacking end, and that's really about discipline and holding on to it. So most of their mistakes have been self-inflicted. So better discipline, tighten up their possession, tighten up their handling, and just play some offense.
A little bit of a tough morning here for the Grizzlies. Ball knocked back by the Foundry. Foundry players coming down with this one. Still have it, but knock-on creeps in there on Nick Davis. So we're going to go back for a scrum here. To the Pacific Coast are right in the center of the field inside their own half. But with the weapons they have out wide, a great attacking position for them.
Yep, these split scrums present a great opportunity. You can go either direction. Puts the defense in two minds, especially you have a really talented number 8. I think the Pacific Coast Grizzlies certainly have that here, and Harrison Dahl. I'm sorry, Parker Marquis, the club president, 6'2" for UVU, Utah Valley. So he handles all the paperwork and the ball at the back of the scrum.
Multi-talented player. Referee just taking this one down a little safely here for these teams. Pacific Coast. Ball in that time. It's at Marquis' feet, but good drive coming in from the Foundry. Off to the left-hand side they go. Ball lifted in the air by Brown. Well taken by the Foundry player. Can't quite see who that is in the back, but good stepping to get themselves free. Gubana steps in to the scrum half roll, but a penalty against the Foundry. Not rolling away, I believe.
Some good fortune here for the Grizzlies. That's all they need. A little possession in the attacking end. Maybe the ball in that guy's hands a bit more. Milan Van Wyck, certainly one of the most exciting and electric players in the college game. When you move him to 12, you take some touches away. If he's playing fly half, he's going to get more touches than he is at 12. He's an absolutely dynamic player. Had a great line break early in that first half, and showed why, as a coach, you want to put him at 12. But you want to get him a little bit more involved in the second half, I think. Milan could start and star for literally any college program, coast to coast, period.
He's also a mineral engineering major from Namibia. Pacific Coast just outside the 22 of the Foundry. Can't come down with that one, but messy ball coming back for Tri-State. Tri-State looking to clean that one up, digging their way into Pacific Coast. They're going to come down with this in a little bit of a close position here. Going to need to step and reset. That's Von Wyck right there. Von Wyck, Pat mentions his name. Von Wyck touches it down. Try awarded. Milan Von Wyck on the board, and about to tie it up are the Pacific Coast Grizzlies.
I don't know what time it is in Namibia, but I know that it's like, 7:30 a.m. on the West Coast. Maybe these Grizzlies just needed to wake up. Von Wyck certainly providing plenty of motivation there, getting everyone, roosting them up and getting them awake. That's a great score for the Grizzlies and probably all they need. Good pressure off that line out to turn the ball over. The Grizzlies look like a completely different team just a minute into the second half here.
Following us up is Sam Brown. Brown launches that one through. We are all tied up here at Aviva Stadium here in beautiful Houston, Texas, home of the Houston SaberCats. where Pacific Coast, as Pat's pointed out, waking up this morning, getting ready to play, but Tri-State certainly would like to come out with a win with this one. We'll see how they do as they're going to kick up. You see Gubana there. Puts one down just outside or inside the 22. Launched downfield by the Grizzlies. Nice footwork, nice running here. Great work from Tri-State. Player not held. He's inside the 22. Working his way over is Davis. Gets to Gubana. Finds some forwards in the middle of the field. Big hit comes in from the Grizzlies. Off we come. Ball there. Popped out just a little wider to Sean Collins this time. Collins puts that one on to the SUNY Oswego player. We have an advantage here for Tri-State. They're going to wrap around Gubana. Ball goes in behind him. Also slips in behind Huggins. We're going to go back for a penalty there. Offsides against Pacific Coast. Opportunity for the kick here to take the lead, and Gubana calls for it right away, Pat.
Yeah, just wants to put that lead up. Smart player, Gubana. This is a chip shot for a guy like him. Tournament rugby, take the points while you can, especially when you got these shortened halves and you're up a little bit. Take some time off the clock. Good clock management. A lot of rugby to be played this weekend for both of these teams.
Gubana settles himself in, takes his time here. Gubana certainly has the distance, but does not have the accuracy on that pretty straightforward kick there. So it is going to be Pacific Coast. Opportunity to move this one back downfield. A little mistake there from the Italian-born Red Fox.
Grizzlies did a great job on their initial drop. 22-meter dropout. Did a good chase. Put the Tri-State Foundry under pressure. Want to do that again. This is actually a good opportunity to potentially create a turnover if you get a good chase on this thing.
Crossfield come the Foundry, get the ball into Gubana's hands. Gubana spots some space, pushes one back, looking for the 50-22, but doesn't get inside the 22, so return by Pacific Coast. Big kick down the field for Hillesheim to come onto. Hillesheim, business major from Pulaski, Wisconsin, gets it to Gubana. Gubana gets to the 40. Inside their own half, fighting away are the Tri-State Foundry. Got some runners here. That's big Georgie Basuku from Hofstra University. Good drive downfield. We have a penalty here against Pacific Coast off of that Tri-State pressure. Opportunity for them, either another shot at goal or to put this one in the corner. And it looks like Gubana is looking for the corner this time, Pat.
Yeah, he may be a little frustrated with that last kick. Pacific Coast continuing to hurt themselves in the breakdown, in the tackle area. Penalty after penalty. That momentum has carried on into the second half. And the Grizzlies are able to possess the ball. They're doing great. When they're playing defense for too long, they make impatient mistakes and end up committing penalties that give the Tri-State Foundry great opportunities to score like this one right here.
Hammond with the throw. Full line out here for the Foundry. They're going to go up into the center, but not going to make it. Picked away by the Pacific Coast Grizzlies. A great defensive line out work there. Ball back into the hands of Sam Brown. He's going to launch that one downfield for Hillesheim to come onto. Hillesheim takes it well. Hillesheim from inside his 50, pushes that one downfield, gets a little bounce back, pressure coming on, but good pickup from Pacific Coast. Well covered. Looking at the 50-meter line, here come the Grizzlies. Grizzlies reassembling their offense, sending some of the big units in. as they crossed the tri-state half. Harrison Dahl has to slip a tackle there. An advantage here, and a penalty coming back right at the 50-meter line for offsides against this tri-state team. Opportunity here for Pacific Coast. 9 minutes gone in the second half.
You can see the sense of urgency picking up for the Pacific Coast a little bit. They feel the deficit, and they feel the pressure of going 0-1 in pool play is certainly not going to make for a fun couple of hours as they await their next kickoff. A sense of urgency here for the Grizzlies to try and get this outcome. They're moving a little quicker to this line out than the Foundry are. These centers are fantastic. We saw Van Wyck bust free earlier, but also I want to see what kind of space that opens up for Malaulu, big man out of Mira Costa College, kinesiology major. Only really seen him carry once, but with the attention Van Wyck's going to draw after that last try, I'd like to see him what he can do with that ball.
So three-man line out here goes right to the front. They do to Tom Williams, Pacific Coast Grizzlies, looking to attack with the big fellas, and certainly do. Williams, 6'4", 300 pounds out of Utah Valley University, the education major. Now moving on to another set of forwards here. Scrum half comes up with it, has to launch it away, somehow gets it into the hands of Brown. Brown has to go into contact. He's got a couple of tri-state players digging that ball out, and penalized is Tri-State. Thought they were clear on that one, but referee has a much better view than I do. Opportunity here for the Pacific Coast. Elijah Naranja in the game. Another New Mexico Tech player. They put it up to the big unit. The big unit's looking at the line. The big unit's held up. A referee right on the spot. He has an arm out for another advantage. Pacific Coast looking for it. Pacific Coast try. They pull ahead through Douglas Barnes, the big number 5 from Boise State, criminal justice major.
Boise State, another one of those programs, one of the more westernmost teams in National Collegiate Rugby. Very good team this year. Played Notre Dame College down in the Rhino Bowl. Acquitted themselves very well. Broncos side is good, and so is this Utah Valley team. I mean, that was a great carry there by Tom Williams. 6'4", every one of those 300 pounds listed here on this roster. Powerful man, driving towards the try line. These UVU Wolverines have been really fantastic. Harrison Dahl with a great pass. I mean, for him to be able to get into contact and sneak that ball out a few phases before they scored was a really impressive, skillful play. Found the fly half Sam Brown from Claremont Colleges. Pacific Coast starting to get a little wind at their back, waking up a little bit, and a few penalties that finally went their way certainly helped on that last drive.
Nice kick to pull ahead. It is 14-7, one converted try. We take another look here, Pat. See the big unit come here. Naranjo directing traffic, the replacement scrum half, and over the line they go with Doug Barnes. We'll have a kickoff coming from the Foundry, in the blue here running from right to left on your screen. After this game in Stadium Field, we're going to have Independence Red versus Midwest Barbarians. Currently, Southeast Bears and Independence White are playing on Field 1 just outside of the stadium. Ball down to the Grizzlies. They're inside their own 22. Big pressure coming on from Tri-State. Gubana has ball in hand, moves that one up. A referee's going to bring it back and penalize Tri-State. For players with their hands in there. I'm a little surprised.
I don't know what the difference is this half, but that is like 4 penalties on the trot there for the Foundry. They're starting to feel some of this pressure potentially from the momentum from Pacific Coast. Some subs rolling in, so some new guys learning the referee's tendencies on the pitch in practice.
Not too much distance. It was from the middle of the field, but it's going to be a line out here just outside their own 40-meter line for the Grizzlies.
It's a great tournament, the National Collegiate Rugby All-Star Shield Challenge. For many, many years, USA Rugby and all the different territorial unions put on these interterritorial tournaments, systematically combing the country for talent. And it went away for more than a decade, and National Collegiate Rugby has brought it back here with this tournament. Now entering year 4 since the resurgence.
And a little bit of a messy ball pops up. It's going to be taken down by the Foundry. Oh, excuse me, it's taken by Pacific Coast. Looks like it's brought in. A little out of my viewpoint here as we come down into Ronho. Again, not rolling away. Quick calls against the Foundry this half, Pat.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one right after the other at the breakdown, and the Pacific Coast Grizzlies really need to take a little bit better advantage on this kick if they can. They didn't get much ground at all in the last one. Take your time here. Sam Brown, Vancouver, Canada native. A little bit more purchase than last time. She certainly does now.
Yeah, he certainly does. Ball down just about 30 meters out from the Tri-State Foundry line.
Set pieces are certainly one of the more difficult trials when you get into select side play. Who's doing what role at the line out? Often people are going to be performing different roles than they're used to, and there's not a lot of continuity, not a lot of reps together. And the Pacific Coast Grizzlies have struggled a little bit here with this particular set piece.
Ball not clean there, but down into the hands of Pacific Coast nonetheless. Aranjo draws a penalty. Player was trying to crawl away. There was Patrick Heffright from Syracuse, but referee is going to bring it back for the penalty for Pacific Coast.
I mentioned Aranjo's name a couple of times. He was the MVP of the Collegiate Rugby Championship last year, helping New Mexico Tech claim the Sevens CRC title. Fantastic player. Him and Van Wyck are quite the tandem. More subs rolling on there for the Foundry. So we got Bennett Mance coming on from, we've got Luke Vivier coming on from UConn and Matthew Paquette coming on from UConn. A couple of Huskies. Fresh legs subbing on.
Foundry needs something here, as close to the line are the Pacific Coast Grizzlies. If they can connect on this line out, they have certainly an opportunity, and they do. Big unit at the back in Tom Williams, but ball comes to ground. Referee has the arm out for a penalty. Foundry in a bit of trouble here. Free play coming, ball taken away, but all for naught. We'll come back for the penalty here for the Grizzlies.
Looked like a bad turnover at first from Brown, the fly half, but he knew that they had an advantage, so he made a risky pass. Now they're going to come back to that penalty. Not a bad interception whatsoever.
And we look at the other field there. We got Southeast. The Bears are taking on Independent White, and it's all tied up 12-12. And it's just outside of the stadium as continue to look at the Pacific Coast here. They look like they looked like they were going quick there, Pat. But I think they were just in the wrong place.
Interesting move. Looks like we got it settled. And of course, Tom Williams is the guy that you're going to find. He had a great carry down in this end leading up to that last try.
And forward just working in tandem here for the Pacific Coast. There's Munemo trying to work his way in, the Wayne State College Engineering Tech major. Another big run coming in from the Grizzlies. Grizzlies just outside the line here. Grizzlies looking for it. We're going to come back here for a penalty, not rolling away again against the Foundry. Everything just seems to be going against this Foundry team this half. Players in here for the Pacific Coast. We'll see what happens. Looked like the player was held up, so it'll be a goal line dropout here for the Foundry. The referee wants to have a conversation with the assistant referee just to be sure.
Utah Valley number 8, Parker Marquis.
Oh, no,
they're going to give him the try. That's right. The AR caught it. Parker Marquis, the number 8 for UVU, is able to dot that thing down. Good usage of the assistant referee. That's why you got him, especially in a high-end tournament like this. Make sure you get it right, and they did. Pacific Coast Grizzlies put another one on the board, and it's a ball game.
Takes them to 19.
Mentioned that New England Independence white team outside on the outside fields tied with the Southeast Bears. New England is the only region that put in 2 teams into this championship bracket, this 8-team championship Shield Challenge. New England is absolutely stacked with talent, and they've got a ton of guys up there, so they actually have 3 teams here. Their blue side is playing in the Rising Stars competition, which is meant for underclassmen, and a few of these other regions have put teams together, so there's a Rising Stars competition. And some of those guys who played in those Rising Stars competitions in years prior are now stepping up here playing in this Shield Challenge.
You get to see their red team right after this game in the stadium as they take on the Midwest.
Defending champion.
Right now, Pacific Coast pulling away here. Go ahead, Pat.
The defending champion Northeast Red is all I was repeating, coming in off of a nice 18-8 win over the Pacific Coast Grizzlies in the championship of this tournament last year. Ironically enough, or funnily enough, that in that game it was indiscipline that hurt the Grizzlies, and that's what hurt them early on here, but it's certainly helping them late as they're making a run.
Yeah, they certainly are making a run for it here as we're at the 40-minute mark. And that looks like it is going to be it for our game, as game number 1 for the Pacific Coast is won by them. Foundry started off strong but came down a little bit. We're going to step away. We're going to bring them on this field. It's going to be Independent Red versus Midwest at 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. East Coast. We'll be right back.
Since 1979, we've been searching for perfection. We've been thinking, sketching, and designing. We've been building, assembling, and strengthening. We've been cutting, shaping, and painting. We've created strength and beauty time and again. Our machines are made for one thing: the perfect hit. We are the crouch. We are the bind. We are the set. We are the squeeze. We are the hit. We are Rhino, home of the scrum.
In our game, we play with our hearts. We don't play with sticks, bats, or gloves. We don't wear shoulder pads or helmets. We keep playing when it hurts. And we leave everything on the field. What we wear must be built for our game.
in our game. We play with our hearts. We don't play with sticks, bats, or gloves. We don't wear shoulder pads or helmets. We keep playing when it hurts. And we leave everything on the field. What we wear must be built for our game.
Since 1979, we've been searching for perfection. We've been thinking, sketching, and designing. We've been building, assembling, and strengthening. We've been cutting, shaping, and painting. We've created strength and beauty time and again. Our machines are made for one thing: the perfect hit. We are the crouch. We are the bind. We are the set. We are the squeeze. We are the hit. We are Rhino, home of the scrum.
In our game, we play with our hearts. We don't play with sticks, bats, or gloves. We don't wear shoulder pads or helmets. We keep playing when it hurts. And we leave everything on the field. What we wear must be built for our game.
in our game. We play with our hearts. We don't play with sticks, bats, or gloves. We don't wear shoulder pads or helmets. We keep playing when it hurts. And we leave everything on the field. What we wear must be built for our game.
Since 1979, we've been searching for perfection. We've been thinking, sketching, and designing. We've been building, assembling, and strengthening. We've been cutting, shaping, and painting. We've created strength and beauty time and again. Our machines are made for one thing: the perfect hit. We are the crouch. We are the bind. We are the set. We are the squeeze. We are the hit. We are Rhino, home of the scrum.
In our game, we play with our hearts. We don't play with sticks, bats, or gloves. We don't wear shoulder pads or helmets. We keep playing when it hurts. And we leave everything on the field. What we wear must be built for our game.
Stadium here in beautiful Houston, Texas, where the Independence Red on the left of your screen in full red are going to be taking on the Midwest Barbarians in the red and white stripes. I am John Broker. I am joined by Pat Clifton for the second matchup of the day. Pacific Coast Grizzlies won the first one on this field over the Tri-State Foundry. In Pool B, the other game was Southeast Bears versus Independent White. The Southeast Bears come up 19-12 winners in that one. But Pat, a good matchup we have it coming for you here. Lots of great players across the field.
Absolutely, the Midwest Barbarians kicking off here. They didn't have this is their second time in this tournament. They didn't perform super well last year, but got a lot of new coaches, a lot of new teams represented. And, of course, they're going up against the Independents, moving left to right, who are the defending champions. And that big man, Ali Corbett, one of the best players in the country. So it's a great matchup for sure.
Yeah, a lot of Brown and Dartmouth players represented on this Independence Red team. Brown, of course, Ivy League champions and NCR Division I champions. As Midwest takes this one right away in the striped jerseys, launching a high one into the air. It bounces back for ostensibly the Midwest player, but taken away immediately by the Independent Red team. Independent Red move that one quickly. 40 meters out they are. Ball down to Voath. Sorry, that's going to be Duque is going to be playing scrum half, wearing number 17. Players wearing jerseys for the whole weekend. You have to let us just figure out whoever he is sometimes. Duque puts out up to Gordon. Gordon, great player there. Junior from Northeastern, born in Paris, France. Little pop on there from Corbett. Corbett gets a ball up in the hands. Charlie Beanie, our Northeastern player. Nice little run to the line from the Independents, but good defense from the Midwest. Midwest, their own 40-meter line, trying to dig this one out, but we have knock-ons coming, so first scrum will go to the Independents.
Yeah, great little back and forth here as these guys try to test each other out. Some nice bash-ups from the Independents, very physical side. These teams, the Independents guys might know each other a little bit better than the Barbarians guys. A little less geography between them, a lot more collegial actual play between them. These Barbarians are pulled together from so many different states, from all over the place, different competitions and conferences, guys who literally had not met until they came together for this tournament.
Referee's going to bring this one up. I mistakenly said Coleman Jackson was Charlie Beanie before for Independence carrying that ball. Jackson wearing number 6 from Northeastern, both players. Now playing for Independent Red. Ball's going to come in here from Duque. Standing directly in behind is Gordon. He's got runners going in either direction. Ball quickly moved on a penalty here. That's Jackson. Moves the ball across quickly. Here comes Independent Red. Get the ball. Antisev from Dartmouth comes over and sorts that one out. Duque slows everything down as the first penalty comes in here. An opportunity for Independent Red, and they may go to the line. As you see Gordon limping just a little bit there. And a very Brown and Dartmouth heavy set of forwards here will certainly know how to maul this ball, Pat.
Yeah, absolutely. The Brown Bears, it's kind of their specialty. That line-out maul is absolutely vicious. It was big in their Fall 15's national championship win. So I would fully expect to see them use that as a weapon all weekend. It was their bludgeon of choice when they won this thing last year over the Pacific Coast Grizzlies.
Ball coming in here from Red. They put the ball up. It has to get knocked back down, so no maul going to happen. But another penalty creeps in there, and a Duque right on the spot. A Duque goes quick, moves it out quickly into the hands of Matias Calvo. And Matias Calvo, the Dartmouth captain, touches that one down. Calvo from Mate Guam gets the first 5 points on the board.
This Northeast team is absolutely stacked with talent. We talked about it a little bit on the last game, but they've got 3 teams in this tournament, and it's not because they don't have enough good players. Let's put it that way. They are stacked with teams from the Ivy, the Liberty, some of the best conferences in the country. Boston College has a couple of guys on here. Ed Turbity, the Northeastern head coach, of course, leading the bunch of coaches. Kyle Sumption, the Dartmouth head coach, is on the staff. He's the USA under-20 national team coach. They've got plenty of knowledge in their brain trust in the staff, as well as talent on the roster.
Speaking of talent, Reed Santos puts that one up, and Reed Santos gets a good 2 points. Reed Santos' brother plays at Harvard. He, however, plays at Babson. His brother is currently playing for the USA Falcons in Fiji on the Sevens team. Santos, both raised in the Philippines, has been in the Philippines national team setup, but also in the USA setup. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Santos brothers.
Ryan got a few inches on his brother Reed, but both big, very big for their skill set, and that stands them apart for sure.
That's certainly going to be seeing a lot out of Reed Santos this weekend. And we have a penalty this time against Independent. Not releasing at that contact area, so opportunity first here for the Midwest. And we're talking about the coaching staff of Independent.
Sorry, go ahead and lay that out for us there on the Midwest Barbarians team.
So, yeah, we talked about the coaching staff. Ed Turbity, Dave Laflamme, Kyle Sumption, Matt Charest for this Independence Red team, but a huge coaching staff in the Midwest. Some very talented coaches there as they set up for a kick, try to take this down a little bit, the lead. Jeremy Kachuba from University of Minnesota Duluth, Justin Witten from the Wandering Warriors, Joe Lippert from Iowa Central, Tyler Daly from University of Iowa, Tyler Selleck from St. Scholastica, and Andy Stewart from Kansas. Certainly bringing a lot of rugby knowledge to this Midwest Barbarians team. As we see lining up here is Aiden Farrell. Farrell, the junior from Iowa Central, went to Pear High School, played for the Red Dogs. In this note, Pat says he has 11 siblings.
That is
and 3 points.
10 more than me. So he wins.
And 3 points to his name as 7-3, the Midwest cuts this one down. Hello to the Farrell family.
You mentioned Andy Stewart, the head coach of University of Kansas, who's joined this Midwest Barbarians staff. He's brought with him the Jayhawks' biggest player, Trevor Lister, the number 8. He's starting there for the Barbarians. He's done a great job turning that program around and really building a really good, solid side, and it's great to see them involved here in the Shield Challenge.
Long kick goes down inside their 22 are the Midwest Barbarians, but after putting 3 points on the board, the coach killer knock-on comes in. And we're going to have a scrum here for Independence Red. Just the first scrum of the game, Pat.
Yeah, the pathway for success if you're the Midwest Barbarians going up against the defending champs is to give them a long field. Make them earn all of their yardage. Don't give them these prime scoring platforms, these red zone set pieces. And this time they gifted one right to them. See if the Independents are as shrewd in punching it in and punishing them as they were last season.
Good drive coming in. It does come out, however. It's going to be stuck at the back. A referee is going to penalize the Midwest. This will be a strength of this independent team coming through this tournament. Will be scrum time penalties.
Yeah, the engine room is absolutely stacked. There's no other way to talk about it. Charlie Benny, 6'4", 225 from Northeastern. Ali Corbett, 6'5", 220 from Brown. That is a MLR-sized, professional-sized, international-sized engine room. Malcolm Robinson is great at number 7. Antonio Estevez is a huge unit on the back at number 8, and he does a great job pushing that scrum forward. So this independent side is absolutely stacked up front and will be a nightmare for opponents all weekend in lineouts and scrums.
Keep an eye on number 1, Henry Gabriel, right at the front there. He's a first-year player, but played for the Portugal U18 team. Played for the Cranley School in England. He is an exciting player to watch. Just in his first year at Brown, as we see Matias Calvo looking for his second try. Matias Calvo not going to find his second try, but gets his knees to the ground, so they're going to have to stop here as the ball comes up to Corbett. Corbett has a runner outside Estevez. Estevez can't find a line. Good tackle by the Midwest. Coming back, looking at it is Ed Duque, but player not releasing against Estevez there. Good defense by the Barbarians. Penalty, able to get themselves out of their own zone and out of a little bit of danger there.
That's what you want to see if you're the coaches. Jeremy Kachuba, a lot of national championships he put on the show for Minnesota Duluth. Good resilient defense, and now they're playing out of their own end.
Yeah, these are some of the runners that we're looking for on this team. Great runners out of Principia. Out wide for the Midwest. Iowa Central. Schools across that area that we'll talk about. One of the big runners coming through. Tackle comes in from the Independent. Again, quick defense. Ball knocked on, but knocked forward into the hands of one of their other players. Accidentally there. Offsides, but it will be a penalty. Just waiting to see the end of the referee's hand motions there.
You mentioned it. And we've talked about it. The New England has the Northeast has their advantage up front and in the tight 5, and that really salty, big, skilled, impressive pack. And the Midwest has a lot of really talented, skilled players out wide who can do a lot of damage when they're given space and time. Celino Peterson at 15. If we see the Independents kick the ball and keep it in play, he's going to be a nightmare for them in a counterattack. Same with Danilola Odanunga, another Principia Thunder chicken. Gentry Stack as a unit, the inside center from Northern Iowa. So if they get the ball wide and have some space, they could have some success. But as it is, it's a penalty shot here for the Independents as they try to extend their lead a bit.
And Santos again steps up. Played for the Makati Mavericks in high school in the Philippines. Launches that one. Referees have a good eye on it, and they say it's good. 10-3, the Independent Red over the Midwest Barbarians. Currently, Great Lakes Thunderbirds are taking on the Mid-Atlantic Sharks on the other field in the other Pool A game here this morning at beautiful Aviva Stadium. Nice high kick there from the Barbarians. Nearly taken down, but I thought it was knocked on. Referee says it was not. No, referee says it was. And we're going to have a scrum here for Independent Red inside their own 40-meter. See if they try to draw another penalty here, Pat.
What they're going to try and do is walk this thing to the goal line, which is totally capable based on what we've seen so far. On the last scrum, the Independents actually got it moving so fast that the number 8 couldn't both keep up with his forwards in front of him and with the ball at his feet, and that's why the scrum ended.
Independent Red here, as we predicted, driving this one forward. Referee Akira Doe from Connecticut has seen a lot of these players, has the advantage here. Players coming around the back, but it's going to be a big hit. Knock backwards, will come back for the penalty.
Yeah, that scrum was on skates the entire time. I'm not sure which penalty he called. Somebody popping out early, somebody coming unbound in the back, but the Independents are going to have, if I'm the scrum half here, Victor Gordon, I shouldn't have much dirt on my jersey at the end of this thing if they're going to give me that much purchase and that clean a ball at the back end of all those scrums.
Yeah, that's certainly going to be something that teams are going to have to figure out as they go along in this tournament, the strength that they're going to have in there. Scrum's not exactly the most champagne of champagne rugby, but the way they do it up in the Northeast with the Independents with those forwards is pretty impressive, and then it's certainly a weapon for them. To the front they go. Looking to get a big drive on. Ball goes down to the ground. Duque steps in. Puts a ball into the center of the field. Reassembling are the Independents. Looking to go a little wide. Little chip up and over. Looking for the opportunity. Ball taken. Mark called. Smart play by the Midwest. Right at their own 5-meter line. Sure, what's a call?
Misunderstanding.
It was...
Sure looked like he called Mark. Lino Peterson, the fullback from Principia, looked like he had called Mark. Certainly put his arm up after he made the catch like he had, and there was still contact, so maybe a misunderstanding from the Independents on whether or not a mark was called, but no.
No, we're going to come back here. Going to be a scrum to Independent Red at the end of that.
Might as well be a pair of free throws based on some of the scrums we've seen so far from Northeast. I guess they say that Peterson took the ball back into his own end and touched it down, and that's why they gave the scrum here. So just some misunderstanding and miscommunication. Maybe we'll figure out what happened.
Yeah, I thought I saw the arm up there, but here we come off the back. Estevez looking for a runner coming through the other way and finds him. But it was handed forward. So we're going to have a scrum here for Midwest on their own line. And have to put in a strong effort here under a bit of pressure.
As they say, I mentioned free throws, ball don't lie. And I think on that time, the Barbarians maybe got a little bit of a karmic bounce and possession's back in theirs, but they're under pressure as they would have been if Peterson's mark had been honored. And so it's... let's see how well they've drilled their exit strategy in their short time together.
Big squeeze coming on from Independent. Ball back. This time looking to clear their lines. Well done. And that one is going to find touch. And quickly they go are the Independent Red team. Good tackle in the back there. I want to be a little careful, do the Independents there. Good pressure coming up on the outside from the Midwest. Their outside backs, very strong. Good tackle. Just outside the 22. Here come Red. Runners coming, looking for big Henry Gabriel. Gabriel takes that one in. But taken away there by the Barbarians. Barbarians trying to go wide immediately. That one gets knocked on. Referee Doe in the right place to see that. We'll come back here for a scrum to the Independents. 16 and a half minutes gone in this 20-minute first half. 10-3 Independents lead.
If I'm the Barbarians coaching staff, I'm actually pretty okay with what's going on right now. We need more ball. We need more attacking end. But 10-3 isn't bad. When we've been asked a lot of questions by the independents, we've generally answered. Made a couple of nice turnovers deep in their end with defense, with shoulders, with hard tackles. You knew you were going to be under pressure from the defending champions. So far they've risen to it pretty well. They just need to make some strikes and some penetrations of their own.
Ball in from Independent. Squeeze coming around. Estevez taking the long way. Drops that one. Spills it forward. Be a scrum here for the Midwest. I thought Estevez had a clear line if he stayed on the left-hand side there, but ran into a couple of fenders going around, and you see not pleased with himself.
Yeah, the Brown guys, especially Estevez, that's 2 drops off the back of 2 scrums. You can see the frustration building a little bit for him. The Brown Bears, as good as they are, national champions, undefeated all fall, they are a pretty emotional team. They play their cards are very far from their vest. You can see their emotions all the time throughout the game, and I think maybe Estevez is mounting a little bit of frustration from back-to-back drops at the back of the scrum.
Yeah, sometimes they just need to concentrate on what they're doing rather than, the chippy kind of stuff there. Questioning the referee. Referee Akira Doe is going to bring down a scrum here for the Midwest. 2 minutes left in this first half.
And that last scrum, Midwest, they pushed a little early, their pack, and decided they were going to do whatever it took to get a bit of an advantage. But as soon as the independents knew it was time to scrum, they took the territory right back very quickly. Almost as though they've got, more power than they know what to do with, this independent team. Let's see if they find their footing as it goes.
Penalty here against the independent team. Illegal scrummaging there. Looked like on Gabriel. Midwest to push this one downfield.
It's a quick whistle for a team that has been asserting as much dominance as they have. Generally speaking, you give the winning team the benefit of the doubt in the scrum, and none on that one.
Midwest go for a high kick there and retrieve it. Well done. Another penalty against the Independents coming for an offside right there. Player tried to come off just a little bit quick. So we're going to have a penalty here for the Midwest Barbarians as this first half winds down. Opportunity to possibly tie this one up should everything go right for them. About 40 seconds on the game clock. Referee will have a little bit of extra time there.
Trevor Lister, the number 8 here, is one of the guys I'm going to look for. An absolute unit. Played his rugby at Blue Valley High School. He's a hard charger for them.
Searles Davis puts that one in. Ball comes down. Well hit by Corbett. Corbett may have ripped that one away in the tackle. Tough times there for Long. Penalty this time against the Midwest. So as the first half winds down, opportunity for the Independents to move this one downfield.
Corbett impacts rugby games the way that I've never seen anybody impact a rugby game, a college rugby game, more than the way that Ollie Corbett does individually. It's almost like a basketball player, right? I'm sitting here we're talking about the Barbarians about to score, maybe level the table before going into halftime. It was almost like Ollie Corbett could hear you, John, in his ear and said, not going to let that happen, snatches it away. He is just really impacts games. His game sense, his IQ, his clutch ability, it's something I've never seen before in college rugby.
You see on the other field, it is Great Lakes 10-5 Mid-Atlantic. As Independent Red come down with this one, we're over the 20-minute mark on the clock, so we're in referee's time at the moment. They go wide, looking to get it out there. Some good defenders for this Midwest team. Midwest barreling into that contact area. Referee Akira Doe spots it and penalizes the Midwest for an illegal movement in the breakdown. So another opportunity here for the Independents rolling into halftime to extend their lead. Yeah, you're talking about Corbett. I get the opportunity to call rugby and some other sports up at Brown. And, I've called plenty of games with Ollie Corbett. And you're right, he is a kind of an X-factor player. If you're compared to basketball has that stat of how well a team does with a player on the court versus off the court. It's really the ultimate indicator of a player's worth. And Ollie Corbett certainly makes everybody around him better and a great leader for the team.
Fantastic player for sure. He'll be missed when his days in Providence are done. As a junior, that's coming up probably sooner than Dave LaFamme wants to admit. Yeah.
Well, there's some grad students around. Ball comes down there to Independent, but referee Doe says not straight, however. Give the scrum here to the Barbarians at their own 22.
Interesting call on the not straight to choose the scrum, considering what it's looked like. I know they got a penalty on the last one. I thought they were a little bit lucky to do that in the Midwest. See if they get away with that call here. Javier Luong is the one who's putting it into the scrum half. Wayne State Wildcat. The Wayne State Wildcats are either on the Pacific Coast or on the Midwest, as you'd expect.
They're hovering the line there somewhere. Big pressure coming in from the Independents. They move it back. Kicked towards touch. Have done, and referee Akira Doe is going to not whistle us for halftime. I guess we have a penalty against the Independent. We can't end on a penalty here in this first half, so Midwest, another opportunity.
Interested to see how their line-out operates. They chose the scrum last time when it might have been ill-advised. This time, it was a pretty obvious choice what they needed to do, so they're going to take the line-out. Let's see how it rolls, see if they can get this ball out to some of those lethal outside backs like Celino Peterson or Damilola Odanunga, who we haven't been able to talk about much.
Ball ripped away there from the Independent. Goes to Gordon. Gordon hit quickly. Duque looking for some runners, finds them off to the left-hand side. They've got a little bit of numbers on the width here. We're going to keep this one in. They're inside their own 50-meter line. Assistant referee spots a player going into touch there. Referee looks at his watch and whistles us for halftime. 10-3, Independent Red lead the Midwest Barbarians. We'll step away for a second, be right back with second half action. back to Houston, Texas, Aviva Stadium, home of the Major League Rugby SaberCats. John Brooker with Pat Clifton. As you see, the Independent Red in the lead 10-3. Going to kick off to the Midwest in the red and white stripes. And coming from left to right on your screen, Akira Doe whistles us for the beginning of this one. John Brooker with Pat Clifton. Second half action here, Pool A. Going to continue to bring rugby all weekend for this National Collegiate Rugby All-Star Shield. Long pass back inside the 22. And Midwest is going to launch this one downfield. Looks like Antisev pushes that one back. Looking for a ball inside the 22. Doesn't find touch, however, on the run. Little kick there is the Midwest Barbarians. Going to settle things down are the Independents. Referee spots that one just about 45, 48 meters out. Or right at midfield, excuse me. Pat, exciting second half here. Midwest starting to show some outside strength there. That would be where they need to go in this half, I believe.
Without question, that's where their strength is. You know, I was just looking through at halftime. Some of the size difference is quite stark between these teams up in the forward pack, and the talent difference out in the back line I don't think is the same. So a woefully not straight throw there from the Independents is going to give the Barbarians the ball and an opportunity to maybe get that thing wide, and let's see some of those Thunder Chickens and Tritons and you know, fantastic players out wide get some opportunity.
I was trying to think of the right word for that not straight, and woefully seems to do the job. So thank you, Pat. We're going to have a line out here this time to the Midwest, however.
Set pieces are tough on these all-star competitions, even though the Independents have been making it look easier up until then.
Ball comes down quick here for the Midwest. Starter play right up the middle, looking to get runners off to the right-hand side here. Have done. Big power run coming in there for the Barbarians. Looking to stay in the centers this time. Just need to get a little pattern and rhythm down here. Do the Barbarians long. Puts that one away. Long again, finds a runner just out to his left-hand side. Looking to come back. The Independents, Ali Corbett in there. Forces a knock-on. Going to be a scrum here. Oh, sorry. Did not force a knock-on. Came in illegally. It's going to be a penalty here for the Midwest.
Maybe an offsides call there, I think. But the Barbarians moving the ball down the field here. You know, I came on to the second half prepared to talk about how maybe they were fortunate to be down just 7, how the Independents shot themselves in the foot with a couple of drops on some point blank scrums, some mistakes that they made early on. But the Barbarians have had all the momentum since we've come back, and they're on the verge. This is one of their best scoring platforms that they've enjoyed so far this game. So the Midwest tails up, see what they can punch a try in.
About 30 meters out from the Independence line, up go the Barbarians. Ball taken away by the Independents. Play not coming there. Referee's going to award the scrum here to Independent Red. Be an opportunity for them to attack with some stability from just outside their own 22.
They can get this ball cleanly out from their 9 to their 10. Interested to see if they want to run this thing or kick this thing. But that's it's really been the only trouble at the scrum. They've been able to run the ball over. They had one penalty called against them very quickly. And then really it's just been mishandling it at the back end.
Ball in, big pressure coming from the Independents. They're going to have to take this one out. Right into the midfield they go, trying to set that one up. Players are rocking their way around, setting up their pattern, looking to go wide quickly here. Going to need some quick hands and find them, but stuck in the corner. Way they come, a couple players down around the 22 there, a little collision. Long pass comes off, looking to go wide with this one. Little pass back down. Here comes Matias Calvo. Calvo breaks through one. Calvo gets the ball up into the hands of Beanie. Away come the Independent Red here. Corbett in the middle of the field. Estevez. That connection is there. Estevez decides to hang on to that one. Good job to keep the ball alive. Puts it down, picks it back up again. Captain of Portugal, U18, U20 player for Portugal as well as Estevez. But knocked on by the Independents. Turns over into Midwest ball inside their own 40. Going to look for a kick here. Pass back inside the 22. Push that one back in the hands of Matt Antisev. Antisev from Dartmouth in Staten Island, New York. Went to Xavier High School rugby hotbed. Kick it down into the Midwest hands. Put it up to one of the big boys. Across the 50-meter line they go. Attacking Enterprise from both teams at the moment. Out to the midway. Ball coming out here for the Midwest. A little bit slowed down, but power to the 50-meter line they go. High tackle comes in. Opportunity here, and here goes the Midwest, trying to go quick, looking for some of those outside runners. And that's interesting. Ollie Corbett comes down with it, but player is not 10 for the Independents. Be a penalty here for the Midwest.
Impressed with Javier Luong, the scrum half from Wayne State, who's doing all the quarterbacking here for the Midwest Barbarians. He's patient, he's deliberate, he's methodical at the breakdown, but when the ball's there and he's got numbers resourced, he can move it quickly. So a very mindful player, and he's got the Barbarians, he's managed them into the attacking end, and he got him a shot at goal.
We're looking for a kick here, 3 points. So we're taking a look at this. Players getting pushed back for not 10. And that's just not necessary there from Ollie Corbett. Pat always likes to get under people's skin if he can.
It's the cheeky, unnecessary stuff that you'd like to see them cut out and move past. You don't need it to go undefeated. It's certainly not the secret to their sauce.
Still 10-5 into the field. A kick comes here for the Midwest. Midwest looking to close this down a little bit. Have done. It is 10-6. 4 points in it. An unconverted try would push this Midwest team ahead. Independents need to answer quickly.
It's a great result there for the Midwest Barbarians. I mean, to come out and get points on the board early in the second half, put yourself right back in this thing. Well-coached team.
Yeah, they certainly
talked about all the IP and all the trophies they've got there. But it's impressive, the game management that they put into this team and just a sense of calmness, right? I mean, they've been under a lot of pressure playing against national champions, guys that people know that will be picked in the first round of the Major League Rugby draft come next fall. And they're standing up to it.
A long high kick there from the Independents. Leave a little gap in their defense, however. Independents being made to really work for it here. They've come in with a little too much confidence and have to dig in here, do the hard work. Midwest gets it out in the middle of the field. Midwest into contact and recycle that one. Luong. He was shaping for a kick there, but he's going to put it back. Corbett cannot block that one. A long ball downfield. Independent in their own zone. Independent with Antisev. Antisev gets the pass away to Calvo. Matias Calvo puts that one up, and it's knocked on. So advantage here for the knock on to the Midwest. Independent Red just trying to do a little too much here. Big hit comes in from the Independent team, driving them backwards as they come back and have turned over that ball. Opportunity here for Independent Red, but penalty against them. Like a player coming in on the angle. Pat, Independent Red just not doing themselves any favors here.
Yeah, we saw that with the Pacific Coast Grizzlies in the first game, right? They came out victorious. They were the runners-up last year. They'd won 2 of the last 3 of these competitions. And they really dinged themselves and made their life a lot harder against the Tri-State Foundry in that opening game. And that's exactly what the Independent Reds are doing here against the Midwest Barbarians, giving them life late in the game when they haven't earned much.
Player just diving straight over there from Midwest, leaving his feet. So the Independent gonna get away with that one, but some work to do still as we hit the 28-minute mark. These are just 40-minute games, 2 20-minute halves through the weekend.
We talked about kind of the cheekiness of the Brown Bears and their leader Corbett. And I might liken him to the Christian Laettner of college rugby, right? Nobody denies his ability, his skills, or how good he is. But if he's not on your team, chances are you're rooting against him if you're on the field. You know what I mean? Or if you've played against him.
All up, Midwest takes that one away. Good line-out work from the Midwest right now up front. Striped jerseys, I can't quite get the number on that one, but they have been putting on a pretty good clinic here. Looks like it's turned over by the Independents. Going to get the ball into one of their forwards, trying to get a little bit of forward momentum here. And they come looking for runners, find one in the middle of the field. Going to have to reset this. Advantage here for this Independent team off of an infraction. Ball comes around. Kamara hasn't had much of the ball here as Abe Kamara from Colorado Springs, great player for the Dartmouth team. Went to William J. Palmer High School. And a shot at goal, trying to extend the lead here for the Independents.
Toes taking that kick.
Still at 10-5. You see the other field, Great Lakes up over the Mid-Atlantic Sharks at the moment. Coming up next on this field, we're going to have the Pacific Coast Grizzlies joining us again against Independent White this time. And Southeast will play the Foundry on field 1.
Got more than 300 players here from 105 different colleges, 37 different states. This is systematic combing the country for the best college talent, those that want to put their hand up for All-American honors or play professionally.
And that one is up, and that one is good, extending their lead 13-6. Good, smart work there for Independent Red as they push their lead just a bit with about 10 minutes to go in this matchup. For the first game here for Independent Red. Midwest looking strong as well.
All it's going to take is a converted try, and we got us a tie ball game here. Under 10 minutes to play. The Barbarians are one touch from Odanunga or Stack or Eccles or Peterson from potentially getting that score.
Big drive from Independent, getting that one away. Ball in the middle of the field, looking for the little pop pass, but it'll show and go across their own 40-meter line. See where they decide to go with this one. Ball's out to that left-hand side. Looking for Kamara on the wing. Kamara does well to put that one back in to Malcolm Robinson, Dartmouth player from Harrow School. Hometown's Washington, D.C. Ball back out there from Voath, has come in wearing number 9 into the scrum half position. Voath moves that one again. And nearly picked off there by the Midwest. A little bit of a miscue, but penalty against the Barbarians. Independent Red. Opportunity probably to push this one downfield, Pat.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got the line out. There's no reason not to. Take your yardage. Give yourselves an opportunity to put that maul together, that very lethal maul. Middle of the field, it's tough. You got a lot of yardage you got to get to just to get that thing out of bounds. So not a lot of territory gain, but he managed to get it out of bounds, which is the first battle. And the Independents have a great attacking platform here, just inside the 22-meter, or just inside the 40-meter. They could probably maul a good 20 of those and suck in some defenders.
They have to come down this first. Been good defense there from the Midwest. Looks like Joe O'Brien is in that first receiver position, but well taken by Independent this time. They are going to get that maul moving, and it is moving at a good clip. It eventually goes to the ground. Voath looking for it, but another penalty, player coming off their feet for the Midwest Barbarians. Another opportunity here for the Independents to push this one down.
If you're a forward, this is the best way to do it, right? You just do a little bit of work, then your teammate kicks it a little bit further. You walk down there, do a little bit more work, and the best part about these lineouts, the closer you get, the more likely it is it's going to be a forward score. So this is, if I'm a prop, I'm a second rower here. If I'm Ollie Corbett or I'm Henrique Gabriel, I'm feeling pretty good, getting my wind underneath me and doing what I'm good at.
Looking for another good line out here. They find it at the front. Push down, a little bit messy, rolls into touch. We'll see who the assistant referee goes to with this ball. Assistant referee, I believe, is going to award this one to the Midwest Barbarians, but they're at their own 5-meter line. Going to be some pressure coming. Good jumpers in Estevez and Corbett here from Brown. Estevez, a lot of line-out steals so far in the fall season, not this season.
Mentioned those two guys, 6'4", 6'5", for the Independents in the line-out, where you look at the second row for the Midwest, 6'1" and 6'1", with C.J. Corcoran from University of Missouri and Andy Naringo from Principia, just a couple hours down the road from each other. Those guys are doing a pretty good job, especially defensively, testing this Independence line-out and not giving them a free ball at all those driving mauls that they love.
With just over 5 minutes to go in this second half, they're going to take the scrum here. Will Independence, as Algin Dari has moved to the loose head side. Hasso in at the hooker roll. Change coming in here for the Midwest. That looks like Josh Napora coming in.
Josh Napora is an absolute unit from the University of Nebraska, Omaha. Playing the front row, can play in the back row. Very skilled, talented, athletic player. Smart, too, coach's son.
Voath puts that one in. Good drive coming here. Voath going to move that one away, puts it into Santos' hands. Santos tries to go around the back. It looked to me like that one was intentionally knocked down. The referee is going to bring that one back, I believe, and call that. Inside the 22, I'm surprised that's not a card. Maybe.
Going to the pocket. I think photographers might be able to sell that one to the textbook or dictionary company, because that was exactly what you'd expect to see when you open up the encyclopedia and look under intentional knock.
And referee Doe certainly does that. I'm not sure.
Might be an outdated reference, but nonetheless, this is what you call a intentional knock, when you go and you're really just looking to slap that ball down. You're not actually earnestly going to catch it. One hand is a good signal to referees. That hand, the palm facing down, is a good signal to referees. And that's exactly what happened there to the Barbarians, who've been playing a really tight, really smart, well-managed game right up until that point. So that's a crucial blow. Going to leave them down a man the rest of the way, I would suspect, and give the Independents a 2-score advantage here, assuming that these points are slotted.
Santos lines this one up. We'll give you that outdated reference for the encyclopedias there. You did talk about Christian Leitner, a 1992 Duke grad. So certainly a history lesson from Pat Clifton here today. Some of these kids weren't even alive when Christian Leitner played in those games. Good from Santos.
They've all watched the Dream Team documentary, you know?
It's a history lesson with you, Pat Clifton. There's always good information coming. As that one's good, so it puts them beyond a converted try here with just a couple minutes to go. Midwest would have a lot of work to do. but is certainly up for the challenge as the Midwest lifts one high in the air. Little chip over there from Voath. Voath from Boston College, played at St. Ignatius High School. Single school national champion a couple years, and he captain. And here comes a big run from the Midwest. That's what they've been looking for, is some of these dangerous runners to get out wide. Some of the big boys come in and set this one up. They're going to have to look for a run here as the ball comes to Farrell. Farrell looks out in the width in the middle of the field, right around the 40-meter line. Havers cycled. Just about 2 minutes on the game clock here. We will have some referees time. And a penalty against Independent again at the breakdown.
Some good work there from Lister and Rapora in the breakdown. Lister had some big carries early on, getting some dirty work in there to make sure the ball's won.
Big hits coming in from the Independent, trying to stem this tide of runners from the Midwest. Midwest gain a little more ground. Going back, set of forwards here, looking for a little pop. Don't go with it, just straight into contact. Little drop there from the scrum half for the Midwest. Unless there was something illegal from the Independents, we'll come back to a scrum.
I don't see the signal from the
And
referee.
instead, referee has whistled us to the end of our game here. We had a minute on the game clock, but referee Doe keeping time down there. 10-point win for Independent Red over the Midwest. Next game on this field, as we said, is going to be Pacific Coast Grizzlies versus Independent Whites. Stay tuned for that one. We'll be right back.
In our game, we play with our hearts. We don't play with sticks, bats, or gloves. We don't wear shoulder pads or helmets. We keep playing when it hurts. And we leave everything on the field. What we wear must be built for our game.
Since 1979, we've been searching for perfection. We've been thinking, sketching, and designing. We've been building a
In our game, we play with our hearts. We don't play with sticks, bats, or gloves. We don't wear shoulder pads or helmets. We keep playing when it hurts. And we leave everything on the field. What we wear must be built for our game.
Since 1979, we've been searching for perfection. We've been thinking, sketching, and designing. We've been building, assembling, and strengthening. We've been cutting, shaping, and painting. We've created strength and beauty time and again. Our machines are made for one thing: the perfect hit. We are the crouch. We are the bind. We are the set. We are the squeeze. We are the hit. We are Rhino, home of the scrum.
In our game, we play with our hearts. We don't play with sticks, bats, or gloves. We don't wear shoulder pads or helmets. We keep playing when it hurts. And we leave everything on the field. What we wear must be built for our game.
In our game, we play with our hearts. We don't play with sticks, bats, or gloves. We don't wear shoulder pads or helmets. We keep playing when it hurts. And we leave everything on the field. What we wear must be built for our game.
Welcome back to Houston, Texas. We are here at Aviva Stadium, where Independent White is going to take on the Pacific Coast Grizzlies. You see in white running from right to left on your screen is Independent White, not surprisingly. And should be in maroon will be the Pacific Coast. Just getting those number changes right now for the Pacific Coast, so bear with us as you see White getting ready to kick off. John Broker here with Pat Clifton. Pat, another great game for us here.
Absolutely. We saw the Independence Red play a little bit earlier. They got their win against the Midwest Barbarians in the last match. And now we're seeing the White, the second side.
Oh, they're both wearing white.
Match up here. Yeah.
So in the white on the right and the left is going to be the Independent White, and wearing white also is going to be the Pacific Coast Grizzlies.
So imagine, right? The Pacific Coast Grizzlies are on the left of your screen, just like California would be on the left of your map, going to the right. This makes sense.
Until the second half. But we'll work our way through it as always. Big scrum from Independent White here. Northeast in the last game, looking good. A little wraparound play there from the Pacific Coast. Doesn't quite go to hand. These teams, Pat, a lot of great players, a lot of great schools represented on both these teams.
Absolutely. One of those number changes you're talking about was Elijah Naranjo, who is now starting at scrum half. He was wearing number 21 coming off the bench in the last game, and now he's lining up as the starter. That's how deep these teams are. You can interchange who's starting, who's spelling, without much of a sweat.
Certainly can. It's going to be a scrum here, this time to Independent White. I think this one in will be Modi Abdel Salam from the University of New Hampshire, Belmont, Massachusetts. Played for Belmont High School, a great program, high school program there in Massachusetts. Comes in from this Independence team, sitting way back. Is their fly half, hangs a long one up there into the air. It's brought down by Trey Kersey. Gets the ball again, moves that one wide quickly, but that one's going to roll in a touch there. It goes right by Parker Marquis. Oh, sorry, Corinthian Cormier. Jersey change here for me. Ball quickly down for the Independents. They move that one wide. That was Hayden Beiser from Roger Williams University, where number 13 puts that one on. Good pressure coming in from Pacific Coast. Hayden Beiser, another Fairfield Prep graduate, Pat.
Fairfield Prep, always turning out good rugby players these days, sprinkled throughout the college rugby game.
Despite
Pacific
their
Coast
coach's best efforts.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Said one of the assistant coaches.
Just have to talk about guys
Prep.
that coach once in a while. Yeah, Fairfield Prep and Marist. I got
Yeah.
both schools represented here this weekend. So anyway,
I
here
tried
comes
to give you
Pacific Coast.
credit earlier.
I did, yeah, I missed it. I'll get it. I'm looking for it again. Big play coming up here. Pacific Coast marching that one on. Quickly away they go. Pacific Coast, this is Von Wick wearing number 15 in this one. Gets the 22, Milan Von Wick. Looking for some runners, gonna keep this one in hand. Unafraid to run are the Pacific Coast. Ball back. This time gonna go to the boot. Send a long one down, keeping it in field. Looking across they go. Leo Clayberg in the middle of the field is not going to get the pass from Patrick McMahon. Ripped away there. Big ball up there to Gavin McDonald. Independent just inside their own half. Beiser steps in the first receiver position. Nice little tip pass on there. Cross they continue to come. Beiser again puts it in behind. Nice line. Taken down by Patrick McMahon. Going to come back for a high tackle penalty. Opportunity here for Independent to move this one downfield.
Yeah, the Independents, this is their first match of the day, this Independent White team, so still shaking off some rust, whereas the Pacific Coast has already gotten their first game under their belt. Even that said, though, these rosters are so big, there's a lot of turnover. There's new guys, as we mentioned, starting in different spots. So the continuity is going to be a bit of a start for a bit of a work on for both of these teams. Here on this replay, we watch the Independents White with the huge handoff on the number 13 for the Pacific Coast Grizzlies. You got to go a little bit lower than that if you're going to make that tackle for sure. So great handoff there from the Independents, who are back in the attacking offensive.
On the move here, looking strong. That's Chris Ferrigno. Taking that one in, the big number 5 from University of Rhode Island. Across they come, looking for a little outside pass, and they get it. Get the ball into the hands of Rashawn Fraser. Rashawn Fraser from Norwich University, communications major. Other side of the river from Dartmouth up there. Hayden Beiser moves that one out, but a little knock forward creeps in to a scrum here for the Pacific Coast. But Independent White moving the ball pretty well here, Pat.
Yeah, they are moving the ball pretty well. They look a little bit like they're not all on the same page. They don't all know where the ball is going at any given moment. But that's what you expect in a bunch of guys coming together from a million different colleges, playing for the first time. So they'll get better for sure throughout the weekend and throughout this game.
Naranjo giving some instructions to his team. Ball at the back, Cormier's feet. Naranjo moves it out, gets the ball to Sam Brown. Brown coming across field, looking for some space. Finds a runner out wide. That's a big number 11, Trey Kersey. Trey Kersey finding some room. A little knock-on creeps in there, that time from Seth Valance. So it's going to be turned over here to the Independent White. Referee's going to whistle it. We're going to come back here for a scrum to the Independents.
We saw that Independence red scrum and how powerful and dominant it was last game against Midwest. I think we might have a little bit of a different story here going to go against the best scrum that the Pacific Coast has. Of course, the Grizzlies, this is 3 pool play games on Saturday. You got knockout games on Sunday. So man management is a big part of this tournament too. And the Grizzlies having won 2 of the last 3, they know the game very well.
Abdel Salam at the back takes that one again. Again, the Belmont player played for Greg Bruce. Big hit comes in there on number 10, Lee Clayberg. Leo Clayberg from Norwich, Belgian-born player, but ball comes back to the Pacific Coast. Pacific Coast finds their way over after a long period of it. Not a lot of ball. Pacific Coast Grizzlies find the line and 5 points to the good. Looking strong off that mistake from the Independents.
Elijah Naranjo caught that ball, was able to get a 6 spin move in, showing the skills and the moves that made him the CRC MVP last year. Just a little bit of a bobbled ball as the Independents getting a good shove. But Pacific Coast, good tackle from the flanker, ends up in Naranjo's hand. Spin move, thought he was going to pass, makes another guy juke. And then this is a great pass from Mala Ulu, the 12, who's playing 13 last game. Draws the attention of the defender, slips out the pass for the try. So the Pacific Coast Grizzlies on the board first, looking to move to 2-0.
Connor Malaulu looking strong there. Certainly be a lot to take down. The Mira Costa College player looking to add another 2 points here are the Pacific Coast Grizzlies.
Couldn't tell who. Well, Pacific Coast taking a nice early lead here, 5-0. The Grizzlies are one of the favorites to win this thing. 7-0. Sorry, the conversion was good. 7-0.
Yeah, just couldn't quite see the hands going up there. As we're going to have a kickoff here coming from Clayberg, the physics major. That one bounces into touch. Be a line out here for Pacific Coast inside their own 22.
It's a great result for the Independents. It's a good, this region is known for their set piece play. See if they can put the Pacific Coast Grizzlies under any pressure here. Lineouts have been difficult. They were difficult for the Grizzlies in the first game today. So if the Independents can find a way to pressure here, could be a real battleground for them in this game.
Pacific Coast, a 3-man lineout. I'm kind of fascinated by this. You don't see this an awful lot these days. Ball comes down. They're going to have to go quick with it, and they do. They're at their own 22. A 3-man lineout, allowing them to get their runners, their forward pod set out wide immediately. Ball slips over. Referee is going to whistle this one. Offsides against the Independent. Penalty here for the Grizzlies. Opportunity to move this one downfield should they choose.
Nice double tackle there on the dangerous inside center for Pacific Coast Grizzlies, regardless of the penalty. Van Wyck gonna unleash the Namibian boot and see how much purchase he can gain.
Van Wyck just about to halfway, just exactly at halfway. So it'll be a Pacific Coast ball at the 50-meter line.
It's three-man lineout. Usually the mark of a team that's not super confident in its lineout, but they've expanded it here. We got a five-man now.
Little slip on that long pass there, but up and at it are the Pacific Coast Grizzlies. Ronho looks off the left-hand side, finds Van Wyck, his partner in crime. That one slips in behind, just outside their 22. Chase Basson, Mira Costa College player, takes that one in. Just looking for some big units to pour through there, and Logan McDaniel happy to do so. Cal Poly Humboldt, child development major in Whittier, California, but taken away by the independent white. Big counter ruck coming in, but they're able to hang on to that one as Big Joe DePaulo, Roger Williams University senior from Morristown, New Jersey, takes that one into contact, looking for some runners. That one bounces back, maybe taken away here by the Pacific Coast, has done. A few slip passes going on as Van Wyck gets a hold of it. Referee's happy with it. Thought it might have gone forward. Van Wyck is going to find some room. Nearly finds an interception. Big tackle coming in on Kersey. Kersey, try scorer. Can't find some room on that one. We're going to come back for an initial knock-on from the Independence White. It's going to be Pacific Coast ball just inside their own half.
Whenever Van Wyck starts really leaning forward, getting his chest over his toes and changing direction very suddenly, it is hard not to pay attention, to move to the edge of your seat. And that's exactly what happened there, even though he spun out that ill-advised pass and resulted in the turnover. He is fun to watch.
Certainly is, as Naranjo instrumental in that first try to put this one in for the Grizzlies. Taking off the back from Cormier. Cormier finds some room. Cormier a lot to take down. Gets it out there to Kersey. Kersey fighting his way towards the line. Eventually taken down. Big boys coming through. Logan McDaniel takes that one in. 6'3", 240. Second row for this team. Looking to go wide. Eyes are in on the tackle. Trying to disrupt Liam McLaughlin. McLaughlin, however, gets a hold of it. Gets some forward momentum. McLaughlin moves it wide. This Van Wyck moves it to the wing. No problem. A try coming. And unless something goes horribly wrong here, it's an awful lot of work to get to that try here, but eventually he does. Does Chase Basson. Good try there from the Mira Costa College first-year player.
That's pretty fun, pretty fun thing to do. You come in your first year, you make the All-Star team. He's already on the San Diego Legion U23 team. Very fantastic score here for him. He was dead set on centering this thing. So Naranjo with a fantastic out pass to Van Wyck. Easy transition on over to the scorer, who decides he's going to get this thing under the post. I don't know if I'm going to get how much camera time I'm going to get this weekend, so I'm going to take what I can do. He got lucky. He got lucky. It got knocked on at the end. Very lucky.
Oh,
they got it.
Back to no try. Wow, assistant referee stepping in there. Hassan.
Wow.
That is 5 points going begging there, Pat.
Athletic enough, good enough to be in an all-star championship in your first year playing rugby, but also new enough to not know to just put that thing down. So, kudos to him. That makes sense. He knows what to do next time, and the Grizzlies will have a few more points if he does.
Still at 7-0 here. Referee and assistant referee just discussing whose lineout this will be. It will be a Pacific Coast lineout. Good opportunity for the Grizzlies. Jason Whippy from Humboldt steps in. Won a 15s championship with Humboldt. Tail the line out they go, looking for Cormier. taking it down, popping that one up, looking for some runners coming around. Naranjo has to go in and clean it up. Ball spills. Here come Independent White. 15 minutes gone, looking for some fancy steps coming in from Rashawn Fraser. Fraser from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. All down there. Working hard is Harang. And big break coming here from the Pacific Coast. Putting that one out. Does he step in a touch? Eventually he does. Assistant referee spots it. Good attack there. I just glanced away for a second. Pacific Coast able to make some great yardage. Well saved by the Independents. They're lining out inside their own 10 meters.
Pacific Coast, it looks like they're hell-bent on getting those points back on the board that they thought they had a few minutes ago with that knock-on. Right on the edge. A lot of big forwards here from Cal Poly Humboldt, from Sam Houston State, from Utah Valley. A lot of meat on this Pacific Coast Grizzlies team, plenty to punch it in if they're able to turn this ball over.
Independent takes that one down, driving it forward. Pacific Coast trying to get their hands in there. There's Salam, gets it back. Under pressure here. Big block from Naranjo. Eventually in touch.
Aggressive.
I want to get a little deeper there. We're going to come back for an offsides.
That's unfortunate. I wonder if they clocked Naranjo for being offsides. He was able to get there and get that charge down. He is able as a scrum half, if he's in the tail gunning position, to be closer to that ball than anybody else on the defense.
The Independent White just moved that one outside their own 22.
Pretty common these days. On defense, you'll have your scrum half lined up. You got to have somebody in the hooker position, but then you can have somebody in your scrum half position, usually right behind the jumper. But on defense, you want to stick them out there in the edge and put them under pressure, just like you saw the hooker here for Pacific Coast do this time.
Little miscue there from the Independents, but they're going to be able to get away with this one. Big run coming around the corner. That was Patrick McMahon. He gets tripped up by the shoelaces. Ball eventually in touch there. Come back all the way. I'm curious to see what the call is going to be here.
The Grizzlies have gone with a 3-man. We've seen them go with a 5-man. We've seen them go with a 7-man. But it looks like we're going to have to wait to see what they go with next, because it's still going to be Independent's ball.
Yeah, Independent get a penalty there. Push it downfield just inside their own 40-meter line. Down 7-0, 18 minutes into this first half here in Houston, Texas. National Collegiate Rugby All-Star Shield weekend here. Big game here between the Independent White and Pacific Coast Grizzlies. Pacific Coast 1 win, Independence 1 loss. Good ball up, but a little messy coming down, taken eventually by one of the Independent players, but he's hauled in a touch. It's going to be a Pacific Coast Grizzly attack here. Good attacking position about 30 meters out from this Independent line.
Independents cannot get out of their own end here. They're playing constantly in their own defensive end. That's draining on a team.
Big drive coming in from the Grizzlies. Whippy has it at the back. Whippy, certainly a fun player. He's going to have a go. Going to drive his way across the 22-meter line. Defense scrambling here for the Independents. Put that one back, but it slips off the boot and just hacked away. We're going to see who wins this foot race. It's going to roll on a touch. Should be Independence ball at their own 5-meter line.
You'd think that they would get this option of a scrum up where the ball was potentially, there was a knock on back there, but I think he's saying it was off the foot, so it was all a kick. So the Independents are going to have 95 meters to go instead of maybe 60. A lot of pressure they could be put under here. If you're the Grizzlies, this is more of an opportunity for you to both pressure the throw, which they're prepared to do in that first pod, and then if you're one of these guys in the back like Cormier, I'm really looking for any overthrows, any opportunities to get a shoulder on someone early.
Ball slips around on the floor. We'll see who comes back with it. Independent seems to have it. They're deep inside their own zone. Player just chips it away, and that's going to be halftime. Smart play, but 7-0. The Pacific Coast Grizzlies lead Independent White here on Stadium Field. We'll step away for a second. Be back with second half action after this.
In our game, we play with our hearts. We don't play with sticks, bats, or gloves. We don't wear shoulder pads or helmets. We keep playing when it hurts. And we leave everything on the field. What we wear must be built for our game.
I thought we had another game and then an hour break. Welcome back to Aviva Stadium here in Houston, Texas, where 7-0 the Pacific Coast Grizzlies in white, running from right to left on your screen, are leading Independent White from the northeast. And it is anybody's game still, but looking strong are the Pacific Coast at the moment. John Broker with Pat Clifton bringing you this one. Going to get it away. Just 20-minute halves here. After this game, we are going to have the Independent Red versus Mid-Atlantic Sharks coming up. Mid-Atlantic Sharks. We'll talk about when we get to it there. But underway, we are about to get Pacific Coast leading. Kickoff to Independent White. Starting to take a little bit of ascendancy as the half wore on are the Pacific Coast. They get the ball down in the hands of Sam Brown. Milan Von Wick gets one put over his head, but he can make something out of nothing like nobody can. Ball up there to Bassan. Bassan, the near try scorer. Legion U23 player, just a first-year player in college. Big hit comes in, a thundering hit from Harang. Ball across. Brown looking for a runner in the midfield. Ball slips. Referee spots it. We're going to go back here for a first scrum of the second half for this Independent White team here, Pat. Only down 7 points, but certainly run a play late in that half going to the Pacific Coast Grizzlies.
Absolutely. You can see the frustration on Milan Van Wyck. He's had his hands on his head. He's looked dejected, had his back to his team ever since that last whistle. He's frustrated. The Grizzlies have had the run of play. They've had all the momentum. They've had most of the opportunities. They just keep shooting themselves in the foot, stubbing their own toes. Whatever analogy you want to use, self-inflicted wounds are what's preventing them from having a much bigger scoreline at this point.
Independent White, move that one. As a hit was coming, so not too good, but pressure coming in from the in team here. Good White. Derek to get himself in there, but Pacific Coast will be able to come down with this one. Naranjo moves it. Just a little pop out to the side. Lining up some forwards. Going to go to a little pick and go from Sam Martin. Sam Martin, the first-year player from Claremont Colleges. Ball coming around the back to Brown. Brown gets that one into the hands of Malo Ulu. But a penalty for players coming off their feet there from the Independents. For the Independents. Independents going to go quick. Didn't look like the players were back 10. Referee spots it. Arm is out again. Opportunity here for Independent White. Going to level this one up with a converted try. Big 21 Grady Pope over the top of that one. Oh, sorry. Big 21 Sean Murphy over that one, the Boston College player. Spilled forward that time from Independent. We'll come back to the penalty. Sean Murphy there. Shouldn't have mixed up his name. Murphy, Boston College player, Boston College High School as well. And the junior jack.
Independence slowly but surely creeping toward the try line here. Penalty mistakes, allowing them to creep closer. And now they're going to go for some points. Interesting decision, I think, when you've seen how potent Pacific Coast can be when they're on. You're going to need some points to win this game. And Independents are going to take 3 instead of trying to go for the 7.
Leo Kleber going to take this shot. He goes to Norwich. He is from Brussels, Belgium, a Belgian U18 player in European competition. We'll see if his Belgian boot is looking strong here, Pat.
I was running through, we get over 300 players from 105 different colleges in 37 different states. I did not look up how many different countries were represented here, but it's quite a few.
A little lapse there, Pat, as that one's good. It's 7-3. The Independence White coming back into this. Again, after this, Independent Red versus Mid-Atlantic Sharks. On the other field right now is Southeast Bears versus the Tri-State Foundry on Field 1, just outside of the stadium. And this NCR All-Star Weekend, as you take a look at it there. Tri-State in the blue. Kickoff coming here from the Pacific Coast, up 4 points over this Independent White team. Independent White looking to get things going, pushing their way downfield. Little step to the inside. Pass doesn't go to hand out there to Clayberg. Under pressure at their own 22. Ball taken away. Naranjo always on the spot. Great vision. Moves that one out wide quickly. Gets it in the hands of Seth Valance. Valance turns that one over. Big unit coming and rolling here for the Independent. Independent able to get that one back cleanly. Ball to Finley Hutton. Little wraparound pass there. Not much happening. Good pressure coming in over the ball, but Kleber goes in and cleans that one up, takes it a couple more meters. A lot of work at the breakdown here for both teams. Away we go with Independent. Independent player coming off their feet, however. It's going to be a penalty here for Pacific Coast. 5 minutes into the second half.
Milan seems happier now. He's telling his teammates to calm down. We've reversed the field. We are about to punt the ball to within a few short jogs of the goal line. So the Pacific Coast Grizzlies seem to have solved their turmoil and are happy to be moving forward here. Really, their indiscipline is something they've got to get bottled up.
You talk about Independent Red and their, chippiness occasionally and emotional players. Milan Von Wick is one emotional player. He wears it right on his sleeve. Very passionate about whoever he's playing with. Certainly a lot of fun to watch. Ball up this time. Seth Valens comes down with it. A ball not straight. Independent will have an opportunity here for a scrum or a lineout.
Outside of the New England Independence Red thus far this weekend, we have not seen a whole lot of well-operating set pieces, and even they struggled in the lineout. It really is a big challenge. There's a lot of moving parts. So much of it is cohesion, so much of it is chemistry and repetition and comfortability with teammates, and it's proven to be a challenge here, and something that every team is going to want to button up. Whoever gets better at getting better at that specific battleground this weekend is going to find themselves in a lot better place on Sunday.
And we are back. It's going to be an Independent White here. Scrum at their own 22.
Love the shoving from the scrum halves.
Always a little opportunity with these guys. Ball moved around here for Independent White. Break across midfield. They're going to set this one up. Gain a little ground. They're coming off to the left-hand side. A little pick and go. Maybe ill-advised as players coming over, trying to clean that one. Having to step in is Connor Kelly. Big hit from the Pacific Coast. Independent White continue on the move here. Ball comes back eventually to Clayberg. Clayberg is going to launch that one downfield. Putting pressure on it. Ball lands in the middle of the field in the hands of Basson. We've seen what Basson can do earlier. Basson is going to find some space on the outside here. Basson is going to nearly break through all the tackles. Not held, up and moving. Smart player. First-year player there on this Pacific Coast Grizzlies team. Pick and go, just trying to reset, draw some of that defense in. Pacific Coast inside the 22, moving with some of the big boys. Now going to come out a little wider into the hands. Connor Kelly. Von Wick has a hold of it. Von Wick puts one over its tip, but it gets into the hands and a big break to the inside. Looking at the tri-zone, and in the tri-zone is John Blah for the Pacific Coast Grizzlies.
Great run there from John Blah, the Sonoma State product. You get that hunk of meat out in space moving forward, he's going to be tough to bring down. Really great catch here from Milan Van Wick. He catches a bad pass a little bit behind him. He has to spin move, evade the defender when he does it. Squeezes the pass through the arms of a couple of defenders, and John Blah does the rest, splashing into the tri-zone. The Pacific Coast Grizzlies finally dotting one of the I's and crossing one of the T's on many of these opportunities they've had in this game, taking a 2-score lead.
Take their time about this try, I'm sure, about this conversion, I'm sure. Trying to wind some time down. Independent White has been game so far.
They're not making it easy on these Grizzlies at all. You wonder if the Independent Red said, hey, we need you to take a chunk out of these boys because they're probably who we got to beat to win this thing. So go out there and make them work for it, and that they're doing.
Brown lines that one up. Brown is good. Assistant referees happy with that. Claremont College's econ major.
Claremont College's got a couple of national championships under their belt. Great program there, coached by Jeremy Ognall and Scott Bracken, the coaching tandem for this Grizzlies side.
Putting their faith in their fly half, certainly. Nice take by the Pacific Coast off of this kickoff. Rumbling his way forward. Ronho moves it off to that right-hand side. Little break coming in. Across the 50-meter line they go. That was Whippy. Brown has some runners. Brown puts it up to a waiting forward there. Just a little bit of ground made. Naranjo this time finds Von Wick. Von Wick, little step, finds some space. He's across the 40-meter line. Von Wick finds another space. Von Wick offloads that one to Naranjo. Those two know where each other are so well. Naranjo into contact eventually. Big pick and go coming from Lee McLaughlin. And working his way towards the line is Brown. Sorry, that wasn't Brown. It was one of the forwards with a similar hairstyle, but a referee is there having a look. And White thought they took that one away. Referee going to talk to the assistant referee.
Like it was either a try or a turnover right at the line. We're going to get a little bit of clarification. Some more fantastic work by Van Wyck and Naranjo. Those two teaming up. I mean, it's like watching Stockton and Malone in their prime. They're going to give them the score. It was Van Wyck with the offload to Naranjo and a great catch. And then Van Wyck got up off the ground very quickly, blasted in a ruck to keep that ball alive, setting up this foray deep into the 22. And the Pacific Coast Grizzlies were able to punch it in right here. Looks like they got the confirmation from the assistant referee that indeed it was good.
Couldn't quite see the try scorer there, but well done by the Pacific Coast.
So one of the guys to the Pacific Coast who I really like is Corinthian Cormier. He didn't play in that first game or not play much. He started here in the second game against the Independents. 6'4", 202 pounds, animal science major for Sam Houston State. He's got a good body on him, good athlete. Probably just needs a little bit more rugby in him. This weekend will be a great, rich experience for him to learn in practice, in the fire, with a bunch of really good players and surrounded by a ton of really good coaches. I like his body for potential future in Major League or professional rugby.
And that kick was no good. We're going to come back for a kickoff, but 19-3 Pacific Coast up with just about 7 minutes remaining in this contest. Maybe 0-2 here for the Independent White. And Independent Red, their partner, is going to come up with Mid-Atlantic Sharks after this. Sharks will be called the Thunder Sharks. We'll explain that when it happens. Finley Hutton hangs one up, goes to the 22 of the Pacific Coast. Little move coming back around. Brown looking strong here. Big run across the 50-meter line. Defenders eventually coming in. That's McMahon. Offload there near the touchline now is Pacific Coast. Advantage here for the Independent White. And going quick they are. Little pass on. Independence not done, certainly. Get the ball in the hands of Marius Edwards. A long looping pass out wide, getting the ball into the centers. Space in behind. Inside the 22 for some players to run onto. Devon McGee in the game now. Has his ball in hand. Devon McGee, certainly a speedster. Puts that one out to Brown. Brown not finding it too much on this one. Pressure coming in from Independent White. Independent White commits a penalty, however. It's going to come back Pacific Coast with just 5.5 minutes left in the game clock. Oh, sorry, it was a penalty against Pacific Coast. Seemed to make more sense, Pat. So opportunity here for this Independent team.
Yeah, this is a great one. You're going to hold on to this ball tight. Really cherish possession here.
Joe DePaulo takes that one. Turned over by Pacific Coast. Von Wick has it. Von Wick is going to go to the boot with that one. Von Wick going to get a bouncing ball coming back nearly in the hands of a Pacific Coast player, but works its way towards the touchline. Should be a line out here for Independent right at halfway. Referee's going to bring it back and say you can't go quick with that.
It's really a morale defeater when you are that close to the try line and you have a few minutes to set up a decision. Let's set up a strategy. How are we going to do it? And then on the very first phase, you get the ball ripped from your hand, really even before hitting the deck. Maybe a little try line fever, I think, for Joe DePaulo there on the Independents. Now his team has the ball again, but they were back another 45 meters.
Walking in from Matt Bant for Independent White here, the junior from Endicott College. Went to LaSalle College High School in Philadelphia.
I love a referee's mark. He's going up saying, hey, I need a tunnel. I can see that mark. And I'm not that close to the field. So good job by the referee.
Long sailing ball winds up in Pacific Coast hands. Players coming in trying to rip that one away is big Jack McDermott, but he can't do it. Pacific Coast going to move on. Quickly taken there by Grady Pope. Pick and go from Whippy. Another pick and go. Looking for some runners are the Grizzlies. Whippy, ball in hand again. Whippy, such a fun player to watch. Messy ball that time. Not the pass they would have wanted out from the scrum half. Off they come through Pope. Pope gets it to Brown. Brown gets to Von Wick. The decision makers in midfield try to move it wide, but closed down by Independent White. Again, they're going to come. Brown in the distributor position this time. Gets the ball up into the hands of Seth Valance. Done a lot of work this game has Valance. Penalized this time for coming off their feet are the Pacific Coast Grizzlies, so penalty for Independent White.
Independent White. It's still a long tournament. You got a lot of rugby left to play this weekend, and you want to build some success, build some momentum, some positive memories for these guys, a lot to take home to their clubs. Take back to the spring semester and build on going into your 2023 fall 15 season. These weekends are about not just identification or winning, but also development. So a lot to play for here still for the Independent Whites.
A lot of first-year players here for some of these teams. Very good to see. Up to the front they go. Tap back by Darang. That one slips out of the hand. Just about a minute and 45 seconds to go. Clayberg couldn't hold on to that one. So a scrum here for the Pacific Coast.
Set pieces, right? It's tough to keep your mind there, but set pieces definitely, right? We talk about repetition. We talk about time together and for these all-star teams and how difficult it is. Well, every single one of these scrums, even when the game's already in hand, is a massive opportunity to get better. And they're going to have 4 more games on the weekend potentially after this. And the scrum could be operating significantly higher than it is now if they take the opportunities with these reps. Because remember, if the Pacific Coast are going to cash their ticket and do what they want to do this weekend, they're going to have to go up against those Independent Reds, and their pack downs are no joke. Source of a lot of penalties earlier today.
Grady Pope off the back with that ball. Pope from Sam Houston State. Pick up there. Ronho playing in a different position. Get it up to Uwipi. Pope to Brown. Little tearaway there from Independent White. Well played at their own 22. Launch this one downfield. We're 5 seconds left in the game clock. We'll have some referees time. Here comes Naranjo. Naranjo always wants to play. Von Wick, speaking of always wants to play, takes that one into contact, just about 40 meters out. Nice little break coming here. We're at the 40-meter mark, or 40-minute mark, pardon me. These 20-minute halves, shortened games in this NCR All-Star Shield weekend. Penalty against Independent White. Naranjo is going to go quick. Naranjo has a player, not 10. I'll move this one back.
Van Wick knows the time is off.
Von Wick, smart player, is going to put that one a touch. Referee's going to whistle us for the end of our game. That's it. Pacific Coast 19, Independent White 3. Stay tuned at the hour mark. We're going to have Independent Red versus Mid-Atlantic Sharks. We'll be right back.
In our game, we play with our hearts. We don't play with sticks, bats, or gloves. We don't wear shoulder pads or helmets. We keep playing when it hurts. And we leave everything on the field. What we wear must be built for our game.
Since 1979, we've been searching for perfection. We've been thinking, sketching, and designing. We've been building, assembling, and strengthening. We've been cutting, shaping, and painting. We've created strength and beauty time and again. Our machines are made for one thing: the perfect hit. We are the crouch. We are the bind. We are the set. We are the squeeze. We are the hit. We are Rhino, home of the scrum.
In our game, we play with our hearts. We don't play with sticks, bats, or gloves. We don't wear shoulder pads or helmets. We keep playing when it hurts, and we leave everything on the field. What we wear must be built for our game.
In our game, we play with our hearts. We don't play with sticks, bats, or gloves. We don't wear shoulder pads or helmets. We keep playing when it hurts. And we leave everything on the field. What we wear must be built for our game.
Since 1979, we've been searching for perfection. We've been thinking, sketching, and designing.
Welcome back to Aviva Stadium here in Houston, Texas. It is the National Collegiate Rugby All-Star Shield weekend. John Broker with Pat Clifton ready for another matchup. We have the Independent Red, as we wearing red, running from right to left on your screen. And in the gray is going to be Mid-Atlantic. They've had a little bit of a jersey snafu. Their jerseys are currently somewhere between Alaska and Houston. We're not exactly sure where. So they've got some shirts from Great Lakes, the Thunderbirds. So they're going to be called the Thunder Sharks for this game, Pat. They've asked to give some thank you to that Great Lakes team.
All Thunder up top, all Sharks on the bottom.
Boy, you're quick, man. You got it on today. We have from right to left the Thunder Sharks kicking off here. Ball comes down to Ollie Corbett. Independent Red won their first game of the day. Mid-Atlantic lost to Great Lakes. Mid-Atlantic going back on this to Thunder Sharks. Trying to keep the ball alive. Ball coming through. Estevez kicks that one ahead, but referee spots the assistant referee who said it went into touch. We're going to have a line out here.
Both of these teams had players that were selected from this competition into the Major League Rugby draft this last fall. From Mid-Atlantic, you had a couple of Thomas More players. Tomas Casares, the number 8, was outstanding in this tournament, and now he's a New England Free Jack. And then you had Mike Weir, who was the MVP of the tournament for the Independent Reds, now playing with Old Glory DC. Some of the guys here hoping to follow their pathway.
Ball down there for Independent Red. Chuidian from Dartmouth takes that one down. Voath currently in the scrum half roll. They move that ball wide. Looking sharp on the early attack here are Independent Red. Having a stand. Up in the tackle. Good work by Mid-Atlantic. Mid-Atlantic strong, trying to hold this one up. Create the turnover. Can't get it. Ball comes down to Independent Red. Back there again to Chuidian. Voath finds that ball. Gets it out to Antisev in the 15 jersey. Ball goes up for Beanie, but doesn't come down. Stays alive there for the Thunder Sharks. We're going to come back here. A referee has spotted something.
Helter-skelter so far for the Thunder Sharks. They've had the ball. They haven't seemed to a real plan for what to do with it. But they won't have to worry about that for now because the Independents have the ball. We know they have a lethal line out and maul. The line out hasn't been quite as on point. Of course, you have to haul it in before you can maul it in. And their line out hasn't connected so far yet early today. But if they do actually get that ball down and form the maul, they're pretty formidable. And their scrum is lights out as well. So this is exactly where the Independents want to be. Point blank distance. Opportunity to execute a line out and drive the ball in.
Good work here. Alhasso to put the ball in. Ball in his hands. At the back of that, here comes that line out. You see the red scrum cap from Corbett there. Players trying to work their through here for Mid-Atlantic. Ball's eventually going to go to ground, but we have an advantage for Independent Red. Looking off to that left-hand side. Free play for them before a penalty would come in. Keep this one tight initially. Mid-Atlantic having to fight their way for this one. Voath, ball in hand, and T-Sev, the first receiver position, wearing number 15. We're going to come back for that penalty. Ball down to the ground from Voath. We'll see where they decide to go. A couple little changes here. You see Jack Swords wearing number 22 is into the game as a prop. T-Sev steps in, it pushes that one out. We're going to go for another line out here, Pat. Another opportunity to drive this one over the line.
Yeah, that's right. I thought they would have had that last one. They got the penalty advantage. I thought they also got away with a little bit of a forward pass. It's not often you see the ball move forward in a maul, but I thought they got away with maybe a bit of a forward pass during that last one. A good push.
Corbett can only tip that one back. Drive away they go. Just outside of the line here. Opportunity for Jack Swords. Swords up at Dartmouth. Played at Holy Cross. Little move out there. Ball's alive. Can he get it over the line and down? They do. That's Charlie Beanie. Charlie Beanie, Greenwich High School product, playing at Northeastern, studying engineering. Touches down a try for Independent Red.
These Independent Reds, second row. I mean, we've talked about Ollie Corbett a lot, but Beanie is part of that group. He's the other half of the engine room. I've been impressed with his play. Big unit, big body. Wouldn't be surprised to see him get picked up by an MLR team at some point.
6'4", 225 certainly is a frame for it.
Let's take a look at the Independent Reds here, knocking on the door. Big carry by Swords, got put down. But a nice out pass from the 9. Bounces up into the hands of Beanie. Takes on 2 Thunder Sharks, no problem. He's a big man. Independents are up.
Beanie, a U18 Eagle on the training squad for the U20s.
It's a great program, Greenwich.
7-0. Independent Red goes up. Greenwich High School, certainly one of the premier programs out there.
Great touchline conversion there from the Independents. One of the better kicks we've seen so far here this year, Challenge.
Little chip goes inside the 22. Well taken by Keegan Bliss. Hair of the weekend so far. Bliss takes it out inside the 40-meter line. Ollie Corbett. Corbett going to bury his head and take that one in. Had a runner just outside of him. We're going to go back to Antisev. Antisev is going to launch one downfield. Finds a bit of green grass. It's rolling towards the touchline. Did it roll inside the 22 is the question. Assistant referee on the spot there is going to award the line out to the Mid-Atlantic Thunder Sharks at their own 22. Just so close, Pat.
Yeah, only maybe a foot or two the difference between it being an Independence attacking line out or the Thunder Sharks defensive line out.
Ball down for Mid-Atlantic. Messy ball back. They can only hoof this one to touch. And doesn't even find touch, so we're going to come back here. It's going to be into the hands of Antisev. Referee's going to come back, however, for a penalty against Independent Red. Good luck for Mid-Atlantic there.
Mid-Atlantic, we haven't seen them piece together much offense yet. Let's kick if they can. Well, looks like they're going to have an option to. Hey, would you like to kick it from here, or would you like to kick it from here? Oh, I'll kick it from closer to where we're trying to go, if you don't mind.
I've always been, I'm waiting to see someone pick the kick from behind. Rarity.
Yeah.
Unless it was, a complete angle. Here comes Mid-Atlantic. Opportunity just either half. Go ahead.
Sometimes you get the referee who just tells you, he's like a good blackjack dealer and just tells you what you should do. Sometimes you get the one that's like, trying to pop quiz you and surprise you. They can trick you.
A knockback by Independent Red off the Jacob Smith line-out throw, but it winds up in the hands of the Thunder Sharks anyway. They move that one out quickly. Big drive coming in from the defense there from Independent Red. So back of their own 50-meter line come the Thunder Sharks. Trying to get some numbers down here on the jerseys. We apologize for not knowing all these names at the moment, but another penalty here. Here come the Thunder Sharks moving that ball across. Looking for some room to run. They're across the 50-meter line. Player coming in, trying to dive on that ball. Is it going to come back to the Mid-Atlantic side? It does indeed. So a little short pass, just trying to set things up here. Referee's going to come back for a penalty against Mid-Atlantic this time. Player coming in off his feet, not supporting his own body weight. Independent Red up 7-0. Chance to move this one downfield. Almost 9 minutes into this first half.
Independents have been dominating, suffocating this game. That was really the closest we'd seen to attacking possession from Mid-Atlantic, so it's a crucial error. You can see the Independents as they, a little bit different than the earlier game. Their first game of the day, they've shaken some of that rust off. They're playing a little bit more smoothly, maybe even with a little bit less piss and vinegar behind them, but more smoothly. Skills are on point.
All up there, taken down by Corbett. Voath gets it out into the hand of Chewidian. We'll move there. They always make a bit of room. Voath finds Antisev. Antisev looking for some runners. Ball comes in behind there. Nice move to the wing. Here's Keegan Bliss. Keegan Bliss moves it back in. Ball knocked forward. The tackle, it looked like, comes down to the Mid-Atlantic team. Great movement there by Independent Red, but an eventual knock-on just slips that one away. But under pressure are the Mid-Atlantic Thunder Sharks here. Ball squirts out the side. We'll see who comes up with it. Referee spots a penalty on Estevez, I believe.
Not a lot of Portuguese players playing college rugby, but Estevez is one of them. As you mentioned earlier, he's a Portugal age grade player. Probably one of the few people in American rugby who was happy when the Eagles tied Portugal in the repechage, knocking them out of the World Cup.
Look at that. We have a big try coming here for Independent. We'll want to see that one again. Beautiful work. Estevez plays at Brown, and their number one, Henrique Gabriel, we were talking about in the last game, also Portugal U18 players. So 2 Portuguese players playing in Brown, no less. As we take another look at this phenomenal try, Pat.
Yeah, Keegan Bliss making the pass here to set it up, but it was a great chip here from the Independence fullback, Matt Antisev. Goes, gathers it himself. Scrappy play. Wasn't a lot on, and he went for it himself, backed himself. Great play by Antisev.
You can see how happy they are. Bounce of the ball, just going his way. Chance to convert his own try here for Antisev. Antisev, a
really
great player with
starting to
Dartmouth.
get into a rhythm. Yeah, he's a
I
very
think
good
that,
player.
these teams kind of need to settle down and to know who they are, Pat, right? Like it's an all-star game, so everybody wants to play flashy, wide, run all over the place rugby. But, the Independents and then a lot of these teams are kind of control teams, so they're playing a little bit wiser at the moment.
Well, they have a pattern. There's kind of some of these teams. That's a miss there on the conversion, but some of these teams like the Thunder Sharks, they come out here and they really kind of rely on their individual brilliance. And it's when you're going to do well in these types of tournaments, it's breaking through that and getting teams to play into a rhythm, play into a pattern. And the team that gets to the point where most of their team knows where the ball's going next sooner usually succeeds here. And that's where the Independents are striving to do, whereas some of the other teams are just looking for that individual effort to get them that score.
Ball taken down by Independent off that kickoff. They're just over their own 40-meter line, but hauled in a touch, so it should be a Thunder Sharks line out here.
That wind's picked up here at Aviva Stadium. It's whipping in the face of the Thunder Sharks, so the Independents having the wind at their backs this half.
That one comes up and over, but doesn't go straight. I think when somebody doesn't, they didn't contest there from Independent Red, and with this kind of wind, might be give a little leeway on that, but I'm not the referee. I'm just a commentator, so referee's going to call that one, Pat.
Houston is this Aviva Stadium and the complex that they've built here. There's 2 gorgeous, pristine, full-size pitches on the outside that the Major League Rugby Sabercats practice and train on. Those are being used all the time here. We've got this beautiful, gorgeous rugby purpose-built stadium. It's one of the absolute cathedrals and best setups in American rugby, but it is windy. You get a lot of wind down here, and it can become a bit of a wind tunnel and affect the play, and it looks like that's starting to happen.
Big pressure coming in from Independent Red on this one. All at their feet. And a little slip ball, unfortunate for them. Thunder Sharks going to pick this one up. Junior Gaffa, a Brown football player and rugby player. Knocked that one on, but it does come back to Mid-Atlantic eventually. They're going to have an opportunity to run. Referee's going to let them play. Over the 50-meter line they go, getting a little forward momentum. Good work by them, down by 12. They could use the points. Nice little sailing ball over the top in the hands of Preston James. Preston James tries to chip one through. Not happening there. Ball picked up by Robinson. Knocked down in the tackle. Going to be a scrum here for Mid-Atlantic. End result good for the Thunder Sharks, Pat. They're a little further into Independence territory.
That's right. They put the ball down there, and, you know, giving the Independents the ball and making them run it out of their own end is not a bad strategy, because you can play some defense and force them into a turnover. Now, through no real offense of their own, the Thunder Sharks are in the attack. And they got Aiden Guarnuccio. He was actually spent this fall. He's a scrum half here, about ready to put this in, wearing number 28. Spent the fall as my intern, doing some writing with National Collegiate Rugby and cover the fall 15 season. So shout out to Aiden. He's good to see him here, out here representing Scranton, the Mid-Atlantic Thunder Sharks.
Referee's going to set this one down again. Eric Elbers to put this one through. Elbers from Baltimore. Played Calvert Hall rugby in high school. Pressure coming in from the Independents, but well marshaled by this set of forwards. Going out wide, Mid-Atlantic looking to run immediately. First phase strike is going to get shut down by Independent Red and draw some defense across the field. They have their offensive pattern set up. We'll step inside. Ball pop back up. Again, another forward pod moving here for the Thunder Sharks. Thunder Sharks looking out wide here. Nellig playing in that first receiver position. Nearly held up by Independent Red. Good passage of play here from Mid-Atlantic. Needing to really get their pattern together. Ball popped through there. Nothing happening as it comes back down to Independent Red. Big break here across the 50-meter line. Does he have the runners? He looks for a little offload. Doesn't quite come in favor. Chip forward into the try zone. If it rolls all the way through. Would have gone back to where it's from, but we're going to come back there to a 22-meter drop, or goal line drop, pardon me.
This has become one of the more exciting plays in rugby since it was instituted. These used to be scrums, and now we've got a team with their heels on their own end, having to drop from their own goal line. Yeah. Interesting choice to drop between all of the wickets, right? You got a lot of things you could clang off of if you miss that kick, and he clears it through.
And they get it back down there into the hands of Chuidian. Chuidian gets it off to Estevez. Estevez right in front of the post. Quick ball for Antisev. Antisev looking for some runners. Antisev holds on to himself. Antisev goes across for two in a row as long as it's awarded, and it is. He takes down that unique bounce before, and this time just finds his way through a gap. Touches down the ball. Great work there by Matt Antisev.
Antisev gets the ball here. That's a couple of decoy runners outside of him. That's a good carry by Estevez. I think they're looking at Junior Gaffo. That's who I'd have been looking at, number 18, and Ollie Corbett, both running those switch lines. But Antisev keeps the ball, and that deception, the threat of Corbett or Gaffo was just enough to give him the crease to get in for the score.
Gaffa played Back Bay Rugby Club in high school, played football for the most part at Brown. As a senior, came out late in their fall season.
Reminds me of Ed Tandy. He was another Back Bay player in high school who went up to Cal to play football. Known after his Cal football eligibility had expired, he moved over to play a little Cal rugby. Very electric player, and looks like Junior Gaffa's got the making to be the exact same. Outside linebacker, all Ivy second team. Hopefully we'll see him at the Collegiate Rugby Championship this April 28th through the 30th. outside of Washington, D.C.
Oh, looking forward to that. And Tsev, great tries, not quite converting them. His boots are not working as well as his trickery in the middle of the field. His running game at the moment in Tsev, but they continue to push ahead score-wise. Do Independent Red 17-0 under a minute on the game clock in this first half.
I used to tell my coach, look, I can warm up or I can play. And if I was in Tsev, I'd say I can either score the tries or I can convert them, but I can't do both. You pick what you want me to do, coach.
Mid-Atlantic hangs this one up. It finds some ground. It finds a Mid-Atlantic player, but turned over quickly. I thought there might have been a knock-on in there or two, but we're going to come back. It's going to be in Estevez's hands. It's a ball down to Swords. Launch downfield. Finding some green grass. A little pop coming back up, but Mid-Atlantic able to hang on that one. Ball moved away. Cross midfield come the Thunder Sharks. Little chip ahead. Wind up. And then Tsev's hands. Kicking game going on here. Comes back to Mid-Atlantic. That's Matt Weston. It is Matt Weston. Grand Cayman Island player. All into the hands of Ethan Ghostlaw. Ghostlaw, the junior from Catholic University. We're Catholic University coaches on the coaching staff here for Mid-Atlantic. Haven't talked about those guys yet. Certainly will do. Urego takes a good hit there. Driven backwards are the Mid-Atlantic Thunder Sharks. But a penalty eventually for a player coming off their feet here. Opportunity late in the half for Mid-Atlantic.
Yeah, good job by Guarnuccio, stealing an interception deep in their own end and then giving them that possession that resulted in that penalty and some free yardage here after this kick.
In this Mid-Atlantic team, we'll talk about him. John Solomon, the coach, Steve Neighbors, both from Catholic University, from American University. Nate Turigano and Brad Burns from Catholic as well. Joe Rooney from the Boston Wolfhounds. Joining and rounding out the coaching squad for this Mid-Atlantic team. Ball up for the Thunder Sharks. Corbett comes through, putting a lot of pressure on the scrum half, holding them up in the air. Mid-Atlantic trying to drive this one forward. Sue comes down with this ball, eventually taken to the ground by the Thunder Sharks. Thunder Sharks move this one wide. Ball bounces off the ground. Little knock on there. Referee spots it. See if he looks at his watch, and he does. That's the end of our first half here. Independence Red, 17. Mid-Atlantic Thunder Sharks, 0. NCR Men's All-Stars 2023, The Shield in Houston, Texas. We'll be back with second half action in just a minute.
In our game, we play with our hearts. We don't play with sticks, bats, or gloves. We don't wear shoulder pads or helmets. We keep playing when it hurts. And we leave everything on the field. What we wear must be built for our game.
Since 1979, we've been searching for perfection. We've been thinking, sketching, and designing.
Welcome back to Aviva Stadium, Houston, Texas, where the Independent Red lead the Thunder Sharks of Mid-Atlantic. Named the Thunder Sharks as they're borrowing some Great Lakes Thunderbirds jerseys. John Broker with Pat Clifton. Independent Red ready to get us going again. And T-Sev to kick off with 2 tries to his name in the first half. And Mid-Atlantic, the Thunder Sharks on the move, looking to make up some of that ground, Pat.
Yeah, they've got quite a bit of ground to make up. That's the way to do it, though. I think kick for some purchase, turn the Independents around, give them a long field, and tackle, and just tackle. Here we go. I like to see that. Number 35 for the Thunder Sharks is pumping up the crowd. He's ready to put in an effort this half. Got to pressure these lineouts here. First off, you don't want to deal with them all if they win them cleanly. And secondly, because it's a great turnover opportunity.
That one is a turnover there, taken down by the Thunder Sharks across the 40-meter line of the Independent they go. Little runner coming in there across the 40-meter line. Independent regathering. Looking for some better running this time are these Mid-Atlantic Thunder Sharks. Ball goes down. Zach Uhler took that one down. Big hit comes in on Chad Tiernan. Junior Gaffa, absolutely right. He can hit him. Thunder Sharks put out a wide one, get just in past Keegan Bliss. They've got an opportunity out here if they can convert. Get it out inside the 22, but a knock-on creeps in. Unlucky for the Thunder Sharks there. Going to come back for a penalty against the Independent, I believe, for an offsides.
I think they might have called an offsides on Gaffa just out of disbelief how nice a hit that was. Great platform here for the Sharks. They've got some good targets in this line out too. Some tall timber.
They certainly do if they can get it up there. Colton Moyer there. We've seen a bit of him. The IUP player.
6'7". Moyer's a NCR All-American.
They're not going to get it to him, though. It's going to be taken down by a steal from Independent Red. Independent Red, a little show and go with the ball there, working their way out to the 22-meter line. Number 6 there, Coleman Jackson making that. And T-Sev is going to put this one to the boot. Gets it out to the 50-meter line. On the move are the Thunder Sharks. Thunder Sharks move that ball out to the width, pardon me. They're just barreling in on that one. Gaffa trying to turn it over. Goes offsides illegally, so we're going to come back here for a penalty for Mid-Atlantic. Opportunity to push this one downfield again.
You take the good with the bad when you get a guy back from football who hasn't played rugby for a little while. And you hit as hard as he does, and you move as quickly as he does. Everything you do is a little bit more noticeable. And you'll be on the referee's radar.
See the Independent Red coaching staff right there. Ed Turbity, Dave LaFlamme, Kyle Sumption, Matt Terest. Thank you, Matt, for getting us all the player information, taking the management duties. Line out coming for Mid-Atlantic. There's the ball. Jacob Smith to put this one in. They try to go to Moyer up front. They get the ball eventually, but it looks like it didn't go straight. So opportunity here for the Independent Red. One would have to assume there's a scrum coming, or Ali Corbett indeed says that's what they would like. Scrum of the 15-meter line for Independent Red.
Especially with these all-star sides, I'd like to see a kind of just lean towards the fundamentals, right? The lineouts are generally won on the fundamentals and the quickness you get off the ground. They're not generally won by how much movement you have on the ground. That movement stuff really comes when the margins between victory and loss are so small that you try to create some differentiator. But at this level, I'd really like to see you focus on just good, fast footwork, really clear communication, and that's how you win lineouts. Not a lot of movement, not a lot of trickery, not a lot of options. We saw another team throw a 3, 4, 5, and 7-man lineout out in one game. And these setups, and I think the independents are doing a really good job of keeping it simple. Just get really good at the simple stuff, and that'll usually do it well enough for you.
Estevez off the back. Inside their 22 are independent red. They're going to want to settle this one down. Looking for a couple of runners. They get it to Big Jack Swords. Swords bounces off one, eventually taken down there by Gregoire. Pardon me, that was Rahedi. And T-Sev is going to push that one into touch. Going to be a line out here for Mid-Atlantic.
It's a great line out here for the Sharks. They just need to keep focused, not get a little frustrated. When you've had a couple of failures in a row at something like this, you're usually presented with a fork in the road. You can either decide to stay process-oriented and just focus on what you're doing, or you can get frustrated with the outcomes not coming. The Sharks can just stay process-oriented here, improve that process, and execute on this lineout. They got a great platform.
Jacob Smith puts this one in again, sails over the top again, but winds up in the hands of a waiting player. Thunder Sharks on the move. Little pop back in. Back around they come. Ball up into the hands of Shikarjian. Squirts out of the scrum out of the ruck that time. Has to be cleaned up by the Thunder Shark scrum half, but penalty this time against Independent Red. Player coming down off their feet. Jackson not thrilled with the call, but need to accept that one, and quickly they go. Looking to pop this one up, pops it up in the hands of an Independent Red player. We're going to come back again here. And quickly they go, looking for some room. They're 5 meters out. Here come the Thunder Sharks, knocked it on again, all that good work. Might have just wanted to slow that one down just a little bit. Here comes Independent Red from their own 5-meter line, putting in these little offloads. Jack Swords pops that one up to Ollie Corbett, but I think it was popped forward eventually there. Looking back for a scrum to Mid-Atlantic.
Yeah, another great break for Mid-Atlantic. I mean, they went for it. Garnuccio went on the quick tap, and unfortunately no one went with him. Found himself isolated, resulted in a turnover. But he gets rewarded because now look at where he's putting this ball, rolling it into the scrum. It's much closer to the try line, and it was really just advancing the ball, letting New England giving him a long field, giving him the opportunity to make a mistake, and then capitalize on it. So now the Thunder Sharks just on the precipice, just on the doorstep. The first time they've been this close with this good an opportunity in possession to punch a score in.
Henry Gabriel comes into the game, a tight head for Independent Red. See if he makes a difference here as referee pulls the scrums together. Scrum has come apart. Referee just going to reset this one here.
Trying to find Connor Homan in there. He's on the field. He usually lines up a tight head for St. Joe's. Struggling to identify him in that pack, but I don't think I see him in the front row.
Yeah, I haven't listed without a number here, so he may not be in this one.
I think they might have him a weak side flanker over here, which is an interesting move.
Big move there from this Thunder Sharks team, looking for their first points of the game. Not quite finding it so far. Wrapping back around, coming across. Space opens up there for Carney. He can't find the try line. Good defense here from Independent Red so far. Little pop on. Here's a big fella. He can't reach the line. It's Chikarjian. Going to come back. For an injury here. Like Henry Gabriel is down. And we'll just sit back for a second while the medical staff attends to this young man and hope for the best for him. We'll take a look at a couple of plays while we wait for this.
We got the New England Independents just getting that pass out, bobbled a bit, but he scoops it up with plenty of space and still able to punch it over. That was the second row there for the Independents earlier in the game. And the touchline conversion, maybe the most impressive play so far. And there's been a lot to choose from the Northeast, including this chip and chase from the fullback, Matt Antisev, rewarded for the hustle. His second score of the game. Here's Antisev again. This is actually the second score of the game. That was the first one. Antisev using the dummy lines of Gaffa and Corbett to find some space and dot down in the corner. Looks like our man is back on his feet, so we're going to get back to the rugby here pretty quickly.
And Gabriel's just going to come off the field, see who works their way on for this Independent Red team. That's Omar Elgin-Dari, wearing number 3 and wearing number 24. Dandab Dorji, Northeastern player from the Philippines, or for the Philippine national team, so certainly a good person to replace with here.
Got to start marking down all these national teams. I mean, I think you said Cayman Islands earlier. Philippines, you got Portugal.
Called Matt Weston, Fort Cayman. I think I was calling a Olympic qualifier at that point. But yeah, we have Portugal. We have some boys from Zimbabwe out here, Namibia.
Maybe that's what I'll do with my break here as we go into our last game before we have an hour break. When we come back for the final 2 of pool play of day 1, maybe I'll go and figure out all the countries that are represented here.
That would be impressive. As we see the ball coming in here, Voath to put this one in for Independent Red. Off the back for Estevez. Estevez buries his head. Estevez gets a couple of meters there. Players got a release from Mid-Atlantic. Have done. They're going to send another big unit in there. Elgin-Dari. Voath looking for a runner. Finds Estevez again. Not making a ton of ground here, Independent. Make some room. Have done. And Tisev from his own try line, looking to find the safety of touch, and has done. So it's going to be a Mid-Atlantic Thunder Sharks line out inside the 40-meter line of Independent Red.
Thunder Sharks dominating territory in this half. It's a bit of a turn to table from the first half. Unable to really capitalize. The full line out has become a little bit less in vogue in rugby these days, but that is what the Thunder Sharks are opting for. It gives them a lot of movement options. Defense has a lot to look at, and it takes away bodies from outside in the field. So if you do win it, you have a little more space if you spin it.
Well, kick back from Mid-Atlantic, looking to get something going here. Good defense pouring on by Jackson. Back the other way go the Thunder Sharks. A little flat-footed there, so have to go in and clean it up. Nice line break, little pop over the top, inside the 22 they go. Is this going to be the try they're looking for? It is going to be. Mid-Atlantic to touch it down under the post. Good work, Mid-Atlantic. Excellent for Mark Carney.
Yeah, Mark Carney did a great job on that. He's an excellent player from Georgetown. La Jolla is one of the best D2 programs in the country. Little dummy pass, slips through, keeps his leg driving. Then a little Kareem Abdul-Jabbar pass, a little hook shot pass over the shoulder, leading to the try here for the Thunder Sharks. Somebody had to make a special play to spring them free, and it was Carney from the Georgetown Hoyas doing it.
San Francisco Gold Gate player in high school puts the points on the board. That kick is good. 7 points on the board for this Thunder Sharks team.
So we see some subs roll back on here for the Independents. As we mentioned, they've got 3 sides here this weekend. Not mixing between the 3, but each of them all stacked with talent. And got some fresh legs coming on to hopefully finish this one for them. They try to fight their way to another victory. The title defense campaign.
You see Abe Kamara wearing number 14 there on the field. 17-7. 10 points in it here. Still 4 minutes of the game clock. A little bit of injury time. We had Henry Gabriel getting attended to there. Took some time off the clock. And it's red. Big hit comes in. Kamara and Gaffa. Long kick back. Independent red. With ball in the hands of Reed Santos into the game. Santos gets a ball to Victor Gordon. Gordon, French-born fly half, gets a little bounce there. Ball spilled forward, however, from Chewidian. Picked up by Mid-Atlantic. Mid-Atlantic wasting no time, getting some go forward here, looking for that space. Looking for a little line break and finds it. Gets the ball out again. Can they make hay of this? Looking at it, looking for these little pop passes, not going a hand, rolls in a touch. You would expect Independent Red will probably take their time about this. Earn a little time off the clock as needed.
Man management, leg management, energy management. Take your extra time tying that shoe. That's what I'd be saying if I was Independence here.
Matias Calvo, captain of Dartmouth, to put this one in the game, wearing number 21. Hasso at the front. Orgy at the back. All well taken in there, up into the hands of Jackson. Jackson's going to find some room, which he has done throughout the day. And the game coming his way sooner or later as the ball goes back to Gordon. Gordon is going to play the position game. Heads of Mid-Atlantic. Doesn't go forward. Not a lot of room to run here. Ball popped over the back. Well taken there. That looked like Gaffa. Quickly they come, getting the ball out wide. Estevez on the outside there, but not being used as Gabe Reardon takes that one into contact. Good fight coming from the Thunder Sharks. All up, looking for a little pass to Kamara. Kamara gets hit for his troubles, but can't find any room, but a knock-on creeps in there. Just a couple of minutes in the game clock. We're going to have a scrum here inside their own 22 to the Mid-Atlantic Thunder Sharks.
I didn't catch the number, but it was a really nice physical cover tackle coming from the blind side of an independent player from the Mid-Atlantic. Help slow that attack down. Get the ball back in Guarnuccio's hands here. Allow them to either clear their lines or maybe run it. At this point in the game, I wouldn't be surprised if these guys went for it.
Yeah, they certainly need the points. 10 points. The difference at the moment, a little bit more time will be coming. As we said, referee's time at the end of the 40-minute. Penalty against Mid-Atlantic there.
It's unfortunate, going to reverse that opportunity for them. Now the Independents up 10, say let's go up 13. Take a little more time off that clock. We'll take a rest.
Points towards the post. Nobody's stepping up to kick this ball at the moment, so we'll see.
When you get late in the game and you get the opportunity while you're up a couple of scores already to just add points while your forwards do literally nothing, you're going to take that.
Santos stepping up here. They might want to get about this here. And, oh, there's the ball. Jack Swords bringing it in.
The bum shoulder, no less. That's a MVP play there.
After this game, we'll see how Santos does here. Santos off the post there. Game is live. Independent Red still have a hold of this ball. Good, smart work by them. They've got runners out to the left-hand side. We'll see where they decide to go. A penalty against the Independent. We're at the 40-minute mark. We're going to take a little break after this. We'll be back at 2 o'clock Central Time. It'll be Pacific Coast Grizzlies versus the Southeast Bears in the stadium. And Independent White versus the Tri-State Foundry on Field 1. Mid-Atlantic at a run here. At their own 10-meter line, Matias Calvo comes in and makes the big hit. They're looking to break away. We'll see what happens. Calvo drives him in a touch there. Referee looking at his watch. Referee whistles us for the end of our match here. 17-7, Independent Red go up 2-0. 2 wins, no losses. We're going to step away here, Pat. And that is certainly the end of our game. I was correct. Yeah. So 17-7, we're going to step away. We're back at 2 o'clock Central Time. Join us again. Pat Clifton, John Broker, Next Level Rugby, everybody at NCR. Thank you for joining us today. We'll be back at 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, another friendly reminder.
Like we clear?
Since 1979, we've been searching for perfection. We've been thinking, sketching, and designing. We've been building, assembling, and strengthening. We've been cutting, shaping, and painting. We've created strength and beauty time and again. Our machines are made for one thing: the perfect hit. We are the crouch. We are the bind. We are the set. We are the squeeze. We are the hit. We are Rhino, home of the scrum.